now call the June 9th, 2026 meeting of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Board of Education to order. Board members, I will entertain a motion to move I will entertain a motion to move the recommended approval of the non-renewal of contracts for certain non-career teachers from the consent agenda to action item letter that ain't on here. Let me see your thing. To letter G under action items. So again, to repeat, I will entertain a motion to remove item S, consent agenda items, recommended approval of non-renewal of contracts for certain non-career teachers, to under action items, item G.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Hatch, second by Shipp. Is there any discussion? All those in favor by show of hands? It's unanimous, Madam Clerk. And the agenda is now adopted as amended. I turn to Board Member Haynes to introduce our pledge leader for the evening.
I did it last time. Should be someone else.
Well, that's what's in here. Who is it?
Yeah, it's me.
I turn to Board Member Monterey Duval to introduce our pledge leader.
Thank you, Chair Sneed. Good evening, everyone. I have the pleasure of introducing our pledge leader who will open tonight's meeting. Joining us from South Mecklenburg is graduating senior Angeli Salinas Leon. Angeli has had an incredible high school career. She is a member of the National Honor Society, the National Spanish Honor Society, Beta Club, Hope Club, UNICEF, and the National English Honor Society. And she serves as a secretary of the International Club. On top of all of that, she serves on the Youth Committee for Despierta, a local nonprofit and proud CMS partner. I don't know how you get your sleep. I actually want to give a special shout out to Despierta. Just a few weeks ago at our first ever Partnership Impact Awards, they won CMS's Community Catalyst Award. We are so grateful for your partnership. Back to Angeli. Her favorite subject is science because she loves learning how the world works, doing experiments, and finding answers through research. That passion is taking her to East Carolina University this fall, where she will major in biology on the pre-med track. Angeli is joined tonight by her mother, Gabriela Leon, her sister, Emily Salinas Leon, and Principal Mark Anger. Thank you all for being here. Angeli will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Following the pledge, she will share a brief essay on the topic of respect. Angeli, the floor is yours.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all. Good afternoon, everyone. Today I would like to talk about the importance of respect. Respect is something that has always been a big part of my life. Growing up, I was taught that respect is not just about being polite, it is about showing kindness and listening to others and treating people with dignity. In my household, respect is a cultural norm. From a young age, I learned to greet people properly, listen when others are speaking, and show appreciation for my elders. My family taught me that respect should be given to everyone regardless of their age, background, or beliefs. These lessons have helped shape the person I am today. Respect is important because it helps build strong relationships and create a positive environment. When we respect others, we make them feel valued and heard. Respect also helps prevent and encourages understanding between people who may have different opinions or experiences. I believe that respect starts with small actions such as using kind words, listening to others, and being considerate of other feelings. Although these actions may seem simple, they can have a long-lasting impact on people around us. The values I learned at home continue to guide me every day, and they remind me that respect is one of the most important qualities a person can have. By showing respect to others, we can create a more welcoming and supportive community for everyone. Thank you.
All right, tonight is a little bit unusual. Normally, we have students here for a different reason. But tonight we're celebrating the Crown Collection district-wide K-12 art competition. This board has an unwavering commitment to the arts education. We recognize that it's not just elective, it's vital to our students' voice, growth, and expression. When we launched this initiative, we were excited to have received more than 600 submissions from across the entire district. To our 40 winners here tonight, out of 600 eligible entries, your masterpieces have earned a place of honor right here in this building. They will be displayed upstairs on the 5th floor where the Board of Education offices are located. Moving forward, every single day that we come to work and meet to make decisions for the district, we will be surrounded and inspired by your creativity. To the families, parents, and art teachers in the audience, thank you, thank you, thank you for nurturing this talent. Tonight, we will officially recognize the winners of this competition. We will proceed to name each of our student winners by category, and when your name is called, please stand so we can applaud you, and our photographer will capture a photo of you. I will turn to Vice Chair Rankin to call the student winners in the category kindergarten to 2nd grade.
All right. We have Gabrielle Alsop from Ottawa Elementary. We have Nathika Kanan from Inhaven Elementary. Tharisha Kishore from Mallet Creek Elementary. We have Skylar Lee from Knights View Elementary. We have Camila Lure from Charlotte East Language Academy. We have Savina Pugh from Sedgeville Montessori. We have Dashani Ramesha from Inhaven Elementary. We have Kaylani Rizzo from Winterfield Elementary. We have Reagan Vinker, Elizabeth Lane Elementary. And we have Michelle Zylinko from Bain Elementary. I will now turn to board membership to call the winners from 3rd through 5th grade.
Thank you. And I'm going to say right now, if I mispronounce your name, I apologize and help me with it. First name, Shivani Abalash from Park Ridge Elementary. Miles Braxton, Barnett Elementary. Rebecca Giffen from Billingsville Cotswold Elementary. Renati Gerhar from Knights View Elementary. Avery Hammer from Sagefield Montessori. Tanushaka Cannon from In Haven Elementary. Araha Kaishop from Ballantyne Elementary. Gabrielle Osborne, Pineville Elementary. Cora Pagetti from Smithfield Elementary. Alicio Villapando from South Academy of International Languages. I will now turn to Board Member Monterey Duval to call the winners from 6th through 8th grade.
Thank you, board membership. I will be announcing the winners from 6th to 8th grade. Eleni Crawford, Community House. Nyla Hartley, Randolph Middle. Ava Pearl Folly. Emma N. Howe, South Charlotte Middle. Sharvi Kulkarni, Community House Middle. Ira Kulkarni, South Charlotte Middle. Pelagie Mandaya, Eastway Middle. Destiny Marriott, Northridge Middle. Brooklyn Saxton, Bailey Middle. Joshua Stewart, J.M. Robinson Middle. I will now turn to board member Dr. Witherspoon to call the student winners from the 9th to 12th grade.
All right, Logan Bailey, Ballantyne Ridge. Katie King, Ballantyne Ridge. Caroline Lewis, South Mecklenburg. Lily McKnight, Northwest School of the Arts. Aaron McCoy, Julius L. Chambers. Amar Palmer, Hawthorne Academy. Ihar, Chev Cole Plyasova. Audrey Kell, sorry. Ethan, oh, sorry. I'm sorry, Margarita. I got it backwards. That's Shevko Plyasova. That's Providence. Can we give her another round? Sorry. Give her 2 rounds of applause. Two. Sorry. Ihar, Sinel Chen Kao. Sinan Chel Kao. Audrey Kell. Ethan Yang, Audrey Kell. Alexis Young, East Mecklenburg.
Okay. Would all our students, parents, and art teachers please stand to be recognized? 40 of these students, arts will be featured. We want to do a special recognition for the students, that's art, that receive the highest vote totals from the board members within each category. When I call your name as the top vote winner, please come down to the front and our clerk will present you with a special award. So the overall winner for the kindergarten through second grade category is Tharisha Kishore from Mallard Creek Elementary. No. Stacy. And can you make sure can you see the art in the background? Okay. Oh, a group with the art. No.
In the lights. If they can turn the lights down. There we go.
All right, our overall winner for the third through fifth grade category is Shivani Abalash from Hawk Ridge Elementary.
I know.
Who in the picture? For our sixth through eighth grade winner, it is Nyla Hartley from Randolph Middle. And for the 9th through 12th grade is Margarita Shakoplazova from Providence High School.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
All right, to our families and CMS staff, thank you so much for being here tonight. We know that tomorrow is a day you've been anticipating for a while. So you're welcome to head home, celebrate, and get some rest for your last day of school tomorrow. Congratulations again to all of our incredible artists. We have some more celebrating to do tonight. As we conclude this 25-26 school year, we want to spotlight an area where our students have absolutely thrived in athletics. This year, 16 of our athletics teams won state championships. Make sure those folks ain't coming in. Okay. We also want to congratulate the 25 individual students who took home individual state titles. This is an incredible achievement for our district. Now, with so many teams and student athletes, we knew our chamber wouldn't be able to hold everyone. So tonight, for our final board meeting of the school year, we invited a representative from each state championship team to join us for a formal acknowledgement. At this time, I want to pass the microphone to our board representatives to acknowledge the championship teams in their representative districts. When your team is called, please stand so we can applaud you and our photographer will capture your photo. Board member Dr. Hatch, we will start with you.
Awesome. And so I'm not sure if I have a DJ voice or not, but we will do the best we can. So we're starting with Huff High School football. Huff High School wrestling. North Mecklenburg High School women's basketball. Mallett Creek High School women's basketball. Mallett Creek High School women's indoor track and field. Mallett Creek High School men's indoor track and field. Mallett Creek High School women's track and field. Mallett Creek High School men's track and field. I will now turn to District 2 Board Member Haynes.
Dub C. Men's basketball. Come on now, where we at? All right. Yes. I ain't got but one, so I got to do it all right now. You want to let me talk? My turn?
I now turn to Board Member Stone for District 5.
Pro District 5. Myers Park High School women's tennis. Myers Park High School men's and women's swim and dive. Myers Park High School women's soccer. Providence High School softball. Baseball too, right? Providence High School baseball. I need a swim lesson. I'm calling you. Congratulations. And District 6?
It's me. All right. So Ardrey Kell High School men's indoor track and field in the 4x200. And then Ardrey Kell High School men's lacrosse.
All right, to every coach, parent, trainer, and athletic director, we are incredibly grateful for you and your dedication to our student athletes. Can all of the athletic staff members in the room please stand so we can celebrate you in the hard work you put in every single day. We want to make sure we capture a photo of each championship team with the board to keep things moving. Can the designated representative from each team please come down, front and center, so we can get a group photo? I think so, yeah. Oh, them to come behind. I don't know if that's like illegal. Or if they stand
Right there.
to block us off.
We can stand up. We can stand up. Stand up, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We have a bit of a platform here.
You see her right?
Okay, okay. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Have a great summer.
Appreciate you.
Congratulations.
Have a great summer. Thanks a lot. Have a great summer.
As I know that you might have papers to grade or whatever it is that, all the things that you have to do, please feel free to go home as well, just as our students, but we appreciate you being here this evening. The consent agenda was amended at the beginning of the meeting. I'll entertain a motion to approve the amended agenda.
I move.
Moved by Rankin, second by Shipp. All those in favor, by show of hands. It is unanimous, Madam Clerk. I turn to Dr. Hill for our personnel appointment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have 3 principal appointments this evening. Our first principal appointment is Dr. Sony Anderson. Dr. Sony Anderson will be the new principal at Druid Hills Academy. She has 25 years of experience. She's currently serving as the director of for the Office for Educational Leadership and Development, and has served in multiple roles across the district. Congratulations, Dr. Anderson. Next, we have Kelly Lyons. Kelly Lyons will be the new principal at North Academy of World Languages. Ms. Lyons has 12 years of experience in education. She's currently serving as the Executive Director of Academics, Planning, and Logistics, and has also served in various roles throughout the district, as well as in Wake County Public Schools. Congratulations, Principal Lyons. And last but not least, we have Rebecca Ramadan as the principal of Torrance Creek Elementary. Ms. Ramadan is currently serving as the assistant principal at Torrance Creek. She has 25 years in education and has served in multiple roles here in CMS, as well as in Florida, Kentucky, and Virginia. Congratulations, Ms. Ramadan.
Thank you. For public comments this evening, I'll read the following rules. Only speakers who have timely signed up for public comments are eligible to speak. Speakers are not permitted to read statements or to speak on behalf of someone else. Responses to questions or engagement between speakers and the board or individual board members do not take place during this comment period. Each speaker will be called to speak one at a time. Each speaker will have a maximum of 2 minutes to address the board. Each speaker may speak on any topic of their choice except individual student or personnel matters, since these matters are confidential and are not appropriate for public comment. For these matters, the board encourages you to contact the appropriate department, staff member, or our board office. Speakers are encouraged to share comments or criticisms, but should avoid personal attacks, accusations, threats, and insults. Speakers should also refrain from revealing student names, or sharing personal addresses, emails, or other personally identifying information. Profanity or other inappropriate language will not be allowed. The board reserves the right to cut off any speaker who violates these rules. As I call your name, please come to either podium and please speak in the order that you are called. The first two speakers this evening are Anastasia Bates and Jenica Karithi-Kenyon. You can begin.
Good evening, members of the board and Superintendent Hill. My name is Anastasia Bates, and I'm a sixth grader at Sedgefield Montessori. I am here to request for you to consider the removal of iReady from all schools in CMS. Our original goal was to ban iReady from the Montessori schools, but now we include all of CMS because we recognize that the program is not beneficial for any students. We have created a petition to ban iReady from the Montessori schools in CMS. We have gathered about 250 signatures from 4th to 8th graders. I have 5 main reasons why I think iReady should be removed. Our reasons are supported by research. The Montessori reasons are: 1. Montessori learning is a face-to-face, hands-on experience using materials in small group lessons rather than the computer-based learning iReady promotes. 2. Lots of successful people have gone to Montessori schools, which shows that the style of teaching is appreciated by all people. So we should try to maintain the Montessori philosophy versus computer-based education. The traditional reasons are: 3. Studies show that you don't understand what you read on your screen as well as what you read on paper. 4. The National Education Policy Center says about iReady, there appears to be program murkiness. And 5. Curriculum Associates, the company that owns iReady, is being sued, which shows that it's an educational platform with some serious concerns. These are the reasons I think iReady should be banned. I believe that since iReady has caused a teacher to retire early, student protests, and a petition that has around 6,600 signatures, and even more, it's clear change is necessary. Please consider removing iReady from CMS because it is negatively impacting teachers, parents, and students. Thank you.
Good evening, members of the board and superintendent. My name is Jenica Karithi-Kenyon, and I am a sixth grader at Sedgefield Montessori. I'm here today asking for iReady to be banned from all CMS schools. Curriculum Associates say that iReady is connected to the learning curriculum, and each part is created to complement each other, making teachers more effective and helping students progress faster. But how effective is it? On the Curriculum Associate website, there are studies that show how it is effective, but some of the studies were written by people who work for them. Some of the information that they are releasing could be untrustworthy because of the conflict of interest. There are 3 studies that all show results that didn't show an improvement, which show that iReady is not beneficial. Why are we spending so much money on this platform? That does not help us grow in our learning. Parents, teachers, and students don't like it. The whole platform is the problem. Students don't like listening to the narrations, games, how it is not challenging, all the extra steps, and more. One kid got so mad that he punched the screen of his Chromebook. An 8th grader says, I'm losing brain cells every time I do lessons. Teachers can't see a student's answers, just a score and sometimes areas for improvement, which some educators say makes it hard to know how to help. A school board's vice president expressed her concerns about iReady at a board meeting, stating that after speaking with district educators, she has not heard any positive feedback. This statement met with applause from dozens of parents. School is about learning, but iReady doesn't benefit our learning, which leads me to ask you to please remove iReady from all CMS schools. Thank you.
Jordan Cheeseboro, Celia Khan.
You first.
Jesus. Jordan?
Good evening. My name is Jordan Chesborough. I'm a rising junior at Harding University High School, and I chose to be there. That choice wasn't random. When Harding launched the Law, Social Justice, and Forensic Magnet program, I saw a path, a clear, deliberate path toward a career in law. I left an IB program at West Charlotte, and I turned down charter and private school options. I chose a Title I school with limited resources because this program promised something real. Internships with CMPD, the NCSBI, local law firms, and dual enrollment at CPCC. In my junior and senior year, the years I'm entering now, I'm not here as a disengaged student. I carry a 4.5 GPA. I'm at the top of my class. I serve as junior class vice president. I have earned my place at this table. And I say this not to impress you, but so you understand that when I made the choice to come to Harding, it was a sacrifice made with full commitment and full faith in this program's promise. My family and I have spent 3 years building a college narrative around that promise. Every class I selected, every extracurricular, every community engagement, it was intentional, strategic. And now in the middle of my high school career, the program is being eliminated. I'm not here tonight to simply ask you to reconsider. I'm here to make sure this board understands what it means to make a promise to a student, let them recognize their entire academic life around that promise, and then remove it before it fully delivers. I did my part. I showed up, I performed, and I believed you. The crux of this program, the internships, the CPCC courses, the real-world legal experience, was designed for my 11th and 12th grade. That is now, and that is me. I am asking this board to honor its commitment to the students who answered the call. We came, we committed, we deserve the finish line we were promised. Thank you.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Celia Call, and I am a current 8th grade student at J.T. Williams Secondary Montessori. Tonight, the board will be voting on the student free speech policy. This board policy may sound like it is intended to protect students' rights. However, the specific phrasing throughout would enact policy that would be detrimental to the very students it claims to protect. As a public school student, I proudly exercise my constitutional rights, and I am in no way advocating against freedom of speech, especially in schools. In fact, the reason I'm here today is to advocate for the protection of free speech in schools. Within the document, the section of most concern, Section 4, Part A, regarding restricted student speech states, quote, student speech that causes or is reasonably likely to cause substantial disruption of or material interference with school activities is not protected under the First Amendment and may be regulated consistent with other laws and policies. The additional clarification regarding substantial disruption or material interference is just as vague as the original statement, simply stating speech cannot be restricted for a vague and unsupported fear of disruption, nor a mere desire to avoid discomfort from an unpopular view. And while this new board policy may not come as a surprise after previous incidents this year, tightening the reins can and will be damaging to student freedom of expression within CMS. This policy is not meant to protect anyone's rights. That's already been addressed in Section 1 of the student handbook. Instead, this policy is showing students that authority can and will be yielded with impunity against them. As a student, I urge you to vote no on the policy. But the vote tonight is not a one-way track. Instead of the vote, rephrasing the document, providing more details, or revisiting the policy with student voices in mind by asking them to weigh in on individual concerns regarding freedom of speech will help ensure student rights are protected throughout CMS. Thank you.
Cassia Dorsey, Bill Fountain.
On April 17th at approximately 9 a.m., our school entered an active lockdown due to a community issue. Staff rushed to secure exterior doors in annex buildings that are routinely left unlocked and at times propped wide open throughout the school day. This has been going on for years. This is a serious safety concern. I have personally witnessed individuals enter our building directly from the street through unsecured exterior doors without being announced or escorted. I have reported these concerns to school administration. In fact, district personnel visiting our campus have also walked through these same unlocked exterior doors propped wide open, and despite repeated awareness of the issue, it remains unresolved. If student and staff safety is a top priority. Our facilities must be secured consistently. I wonder if parents are aware that many of their children spend the school day in buildings with significant security breaches. I urge the district to address this issue immediately. We have all seen the devastating effects of school shootings across the country. Sandy Hook, sound familiar? A loss of 26 lives, unfortunately. While I do plead the powerful and precious blood of Jesus Christ over everyone and pray a tragedy never occurs here, failing to take preventative action places students, staff, families, and the district at unnecessary risk, including massive potential lawsuits for negligence. Security concerns must be addressed before a crisis occurs. When known vulnerabilities are ignored, accountability is demanded. Staying ahead of potential threats is critical because disregarding known security risk is not prevention, it's negligence. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Bill Fountain, a retired school teacher. Real compassion for our students means doing the right thing. Here are 3 examples where that's not followed. First is discipline. When a student misbehaves, CMS should discipline according to your code of conduct. But you go easy on some students who are the low social economic status or being black. This is toxic compassion. The student is not motivated to change, and other students notice the lack of consistency and suffer classroom disruption. Everyone loses. Second is sexual. When a student desires homosexuality or transgender, the teacher should inform the student's parents and advise that these desires are associated with mental dysphoria. Many wish to affirm the student's desires. This is toxic compassion. It will lead to unhappiness, it's contrary to nature, and it will mislead more students. Again, everyone loses. The third, leveling student outcomes. When school administrators level student outcomes to reduce the performance gaps, they're essentially announcing that merit doesn't count. This is toxic compassion. It leads to social promotions, robbing students and students of dignity and their personal responsibility. Everyone loses. These 3 toxic compassions are sinful, counterproductive, and worsens the student's mental health. With courage, though, CMS can have real compassion by doing the right thing and more likely be able to improve the low Math 1 outcomes that you will see later. Thank you.
Tiffany Chesborough, Carmen Brown.
Good evening. My name is Tiffany Chesborough. I am the parent of a Harding University High School student, the young lady that spoke so eloquently earlier today. I am here because this board owes this community an answer. When the Law, Social Justice, and Forensic Pathology Magnet Program was announced, my family made a decision. Not an emotional one, a strategic one. We evaluated our options. We looked at IB programs, charter schools, private schools. My child qualified for all of them. We chose Harding, a Title I school, specifically because of this program and what it promised to deliver in the junior and senior years. We did not stumble into this decision. We planned around it. We built an academic narrative around it. We sacrificed proximity, resources, and alternative opportunities around it. That is what your program asked families to do, and we did it in good faith. Now you're eliminating the program. Not before students and families have enrolled, not before students committed, but in the middle of their high school careers.
at the exact moment the program was supposed to deliver on its promise. I want the board to understand something clearly. This is not a scheduling inconvenience. This is a breach of trust with families who chose to believe that CMS would invest in a Title I school the same way it invests everywhere else. You marketed a program. Families recognized their lives around it, or reorganized their lives around it. Students walked away from other opportunities, better resourced schools, established programs, and guaranteed pathways because they believed in the words, that your words meant something. What you're taking from these students is not just a program. You are taking transcripts built around a promise that is no longer exists. You are taking internships they planned for. You are taking the college narrative they have spent years constructing, and you're doing it in the worst possible moment with no adequate replacement and no apology. And if the board moves forward with this elimination, those decisions cannot be undone. The years cannot be returned. The opportunities they declined cannot be reclaimed. This is damage, not hypothetical, not inconvenience, irreversible.
Thank you.
The burden of those words, irreversible.
Ms. Chesborough, you can email us the rest of your comments. Ms. Chesborough, thank you. Thank you.
We hold you to it.
Miss, thank you. Natalie Johnson can come down as well. Ms. Brown, you can begin.
Okay. I'm Carmen Brown with Little Learners Child Development Center. We're located in the Hidden Valley community. We have been a community partner with NC Pre-K roughly since 2002. So I represent over 20 years of NC Pre-K success. And the budget cuts, I understand budget cuts, but it is going to be detrimental to the program. We have just lost over 23 literacy coaches and support staff. In previous years, we lost our social workers and now our parent advocates that helped us find the resources for our parents. We've experienced this year the lowest enrollment in our 20-year history, 20-plus years history this year. We were scheduled to have 3 classrooms with 54 students. We only had 22. We made the best of what we had, but we need to know that CMS is still committed to working with us in the community. We are community partners. We have delivered over 2 decades of success of pre-K students, some of which have probably been up here and excelled in other areas. We were assured that we would keep our coaches this year, and then they were pulled in the middle of us finding out about a end of year assessment protocol. Some of them were reassigned to other classrooms. What I'm asking for is more clarity and clear communication on what is going to happen and what our future is with CMS. We are committed to continuing our part in helping with children to give them the bright beginning that they need, but we need to know that you are with us as well. Thank you.
Is Natalie Johnson here?
She's not here.
Okay. All right, Ross Glenn, Elizabeth Portis.
You guys ready?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, board members. Thank you for the opportunity to address you tonight on an issue that I believe demands your immediate attention. That's the alarming and growing use of screens in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools. Let me start with a number, 17 to 19. That's the number of standardized testing events a single CMS third grader sits through in one school year. Dibbles 3 times, iReady Reading 3 times, iReady Math 3 times, Mastery View Predictive Assessments, MVPA multiple times in both reading and math. The beginning of grade 3 reading test, 2 end of grade exams, every single one of these is screen-based. We have normalized placing 8 and 9-year-old children in front of screens for assessment after assessment. That doesn't even count the screen time used for daily instruction, test prep, and curriculum delivery. The research on this should alarm every person in the room. Studies consistently link excessive screen time in young children to delayed language development, shortened attention spans, disrupted sleep, etc. The American Academy of Pediatrics has raised concerns about screen time exposure for school-age children, yet we're voluntarily multiplying that exposure in our own classrooms. And what are we getting in return? According to CMS's own data, just over half of our students are proficient in core subjects. We've been giving iReady for three times a year, Dibbles 3 times a year, MVPAs 3 times a year, and the needle's barely moved. We're not failing our children despite all this technology. I would submit perhaps that we may be failing them because of it. I'm asking the board tonight to commission a comprehensive audit of screen time across CMS, instructional, assessment, and test prep combined, and to seriously evaluate whether the volume of technology we're deploying is aligned with the developmental needs of our students and academic outcomes that we expect. Our children deserve more than a screen. They deserve a teacher, perhaps a book, and the space to learn like children. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. I'm speaking as a CMS parent, a local public health professional, and a pediatrician. You and I are partners. In many of the complex challenges facing our kids today, we work together. Supporting kids who have special needs, kids who are hungry, those facing immigration enforcement, who see violence in and outside of their home, and struggle with anxiety and depression. We share these responsibilities. But tonight, like my colleague, I'm asking you to give an attention to a topic that falls almost solely within your locus of control and certainly outside of mine. And this is the use and overuse of technology and unverified education apps within our schools. You and the state decide what happens in the classrooms. I and other doctors and parents do not. We all know the negative impacts of technology on mental health, attention, and brain development, and these are well researched. Kids learn and test better off screens. Yet when the EOG system went down and I was in the hallway as a monitor, the teachers and staff had no other options but to take a deep breath and restart the Chromebooks over and over again. I see the physical impacts of prolonged screen use in my clinic. Kids with eye strain, headaches, insomnia, back and wrist pain, once only seen in older adults. My colleagues and I face uphill battles, counseling families, all of them low income, against prolonged device usage when it is seen as normative and mandated in schools. I had to consent for my 5-year-old to get her hearing test in CMS, yet no one has asked my permission to let her see YouTube in her class. So tonight, I'm asking you for this comprehensive audit. Please pause on further contracts.
Jessica Mendez McKinney and Sherry Bissell.
Good evening, members of the board. I'm a mom of 2 and 1 on the way, and a corporate marketing expert with 21 years of experience in getting people's attention and having them buy things. I'm asking you to reconsider the growing reliance on screens in our classrooms. Not because technology has no value, but because childhood is too important to outsource to a device. At its core, this is an issue of protecting children's attention. In today's world, children are surrounded by technologies designed to capture and hold their focus. Schools should be one of the few places their attention is protected, nurtured, and developed, not where it is continuously competed for. My daughter attends Shamrock Gardens. The use of iReady, especially those beyond the 60 minutes recommended screen time, the branding YouTube videos as brain breaks, and having an ad skipper job as in the classroom have caused me great concern as an expert in human attention. The science is increasingly clear. A 2024 systematic review found that highly stimulating digital content can impair children's attention and executive functioning, the very skills responsible for focus, self-control, working memory, and learning. Another found consistent links and greater screen exposure and poorer outcomes in language development, attention, cognitive functioning during childhood. Why does this matter? Because the development brain is shaped by experience. Children build attention by practicing attention. They build social skills through face-to-face interactions. They develop creativity through exploration, conversation, and even boredom. Yet screens replace many of these experiences with constant novelty, instant feedback, and rapid stimulation. The cost is not what screens do, it is what they displace. Every hour spent on a device is an hour not spent reading deeply, solving problems collaboratively, engaging on hands-on learning, and moving their bodies.
Good evening, I'm Sherry Bissell, a nurse practitioner and Collins Woods PTA president. I'm here tonight asking this board to limit screen time in our schools, and specifically to decline the renewal of the $18 million iReady contract on June 30th. Board members, how many hours per day are our scholars on devices? Not one person in CMS has been able to provide that number, but this number matters. As a clinician, I can tell you that the research is clear about what it is doing to our students' brains. First, the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry tells us that children ages 8 to 12 already spend 4 to 6 hours per day on screens outside of the classroom. The CDC's Youth Risk Behavior Survey found that 76% of students report using screens for at least 3 hours per day in school. We are stacking screen exposure on top of screen exposure and calling it learning. The peer-reviewed literature says excessive screen time is linked to reduced attention spans, impaired working memory, disrupted sleep, and diminished executive function. These are the mechanisms children need to digest and retain curriculum. You cannot pour knowledge into a brain that cannot hold it. iReady specifically consumes up to 90 minutes of valuable classroom time per week. LA and DC are rethinking their contracts. CMS can lead here too. You have an opportunity. I am not anti-tech, but I am pro-brain development. I'm asking the board to look at the total hours our children are spending on screens, weigh that against the medical evidence, and make a decision grounded in child health. Do not renew iReady. Set clear screen time limits. Give our teachers back their classrooms and give our scholars back their brains. Thank you.
Emily Moldonovan, Cal Queen.
Hi, I'm Emily Moldovan. I'm a parent of a kindergartner at Shamrock Gardens Elementary. I'm here tonight to ask the board not to renew the iReady contract and to reconsider screen use, especially in elementary school. Like many parents, I assumed technology in school would be occasional and purposeful. Instead, I've watched my kindergartner spend far more time on a tablet than I ever imagined, completing lessons, assessments, and screen-based learning during years that should be centered on human interaction, hands-on learning, and joyful discovery. When my child looks back on elementary school, I don't want the strongest memory to be sitting in front of a tablet. I want them to remember being read to, building things, writing stories, asking questions, and feeling truly known by their teacher. Joy, wonder, curiosity, and human connection are foundational to learning. I also urge you to examine the evidence behind iReady. Despite its widespread use, there are no randomized controlled trials and little strong peer-reviewed evidence showing meaningful improvements. Even the studies most often cited were funded by the company that owns it, were not peer-reviewed, and showed only minimal gains. Broader research on heavy screen exposure raises concerns in young people: weaker attention, language, communication, social outcomes, and emotional and behavioral challenges. This is not an argument against technology. Our children need digital skills, but development matters. Elementary students are building attention spans, learning to read and write and interact with others, and regulate emotions. Tablets should be tools, not the centerpiece of their learning. It's worth asking as well why so many tech leaders who developed this technology are now choosing to send their children to low-screen, low-tech schools. CMS has an opportunity to lead. We can prioritize what young children need most: engaged teachers, books, discussion, movement, creativity, and meaningful learning experiences. Please do not renew the iReady contract without serious review and reconsider the role of screens in elementary education. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. What they said. I propose 2 no to low-cost policies that will improve social emotional learning and our children's mental health. One is to implement phone-free schools, bell to bell. The other is to increase opportunities for free play. In 2024, Jonathan Haidt published a book that rocketed to the top of bestseller list, The Anxious Generation: How the Great Rewiring of Childhood is Causing an Epidemic of Mental Illness. I doubt there's a principal or teacher who isn't familiar with this work, and I hope each of you either has read it or you have a copy on your to-read stack. Phone bans during class help students be more attentive to the teacher, but phone bans on campus help children be attentive to each other. It is proved to make children better problem solvers, gaining competence and confidence. It makes them creative, resilient, and more empathetic human beings because they are connecting in real life with other living beings. In other words, they are building community. This is an antidote to loneliness, alienation, powerlessness, and depression. Like other animals, we learn through play and imitation, but even more important to our survival, Homo sapiens sapiens succeeded in outliving all others of the genus Homo by being the best learners. We have unusually prolonged childhoods so that we can extend our learning through play. It turns out the skills our students need most can't be learned through direct instruction. I will close with a quote from the founder of Waldorf pedagogy. Our highest endeavor must be to develop free human beings who are able of themselves to impart purpose and direction to their lives. The need for imagination, a sense of truth, and a feeling of responsibility, these 3 forces are the very nerve of education. Let's do it. Thank you.
Judy Robinson and Tess Arrowwood.
Is Judy here?
Last call for Judy Robinson. Julie Gronkowski. Okay, Allie Call. You may begin.
Good evening, I'm a CMS parent. I want to ask everyone in this room to think back on a childhood learning experience they remember fondly. For me, it was a unit on ancient Egypt. I got to make a Cleopatra costume and pretend that I was Cleopatra for the day. And another was my 2nd grade poetry unit. We did the whole thing outside, and I can still recite the poem that I memorized. Why are these the experiences that stick? Because we, as humans, are deeply social creatures. We learn through relationships, conversation, eye contact, hands-on work, movement, nature, debate, shared experience. These are the moments that teachers have always wished they had more time for. It is in this environment of limited time that CMS is requiring students to spend 90 minutes per week on iReady, a gamified online learning app. So my question is simple. Where is the independent, peer-reviewed evidence that this trade-off is worth it? The company that makes iReady funds much of the research supporting its own product. A cognitive neuroscientist who works for an education think tank and testified before the U.S. Senate this year put it plainly. There is not a single high-quality independent study showing iReady improves learning. I think about my Cleopatra costume. I think about that poem that I still know by heart. Those are exactly the kind of moments that get crowded out. I wonder if a child in a CMS classroom today would get them, or if that time would be spent on an iPad running a program without a single high-quality independent study to justify it. Please don't let iReady crowd out rich, memorable, and effective learning. Please give families, teachers, and schools the option to opt out. Thank you for your consideration.
Good evening. My name is Allie Call, and I'm a former CMS educator with my master's in reading curriculum and instruction. My children have been a part of the Montessori program for the last 10 years. The source of my children's love of learning seems to be very easy to pinpoint. They've had dedicated educators who have nurtured their inquisitive spirits and encouraged them to keep questioning and digging deeper into learning and the world around them. Until this year, technology in the Montessori has been used with intention. But the forced addition of iReady has created quite the opposite environment, as you've heard from the students themselves tonight. There is no longer a depth of knowledge being sought out, but instead children being forced down a path of learning that they may barely have a grasp on. As an active substitute, I'm watching the light dim not only in our students, but also in our educators. The undue pressure of data collection and demands of required ed tech time have forced our trained professionals to leave history and writing lessons behind on the table. Our teachers now have additional business meetings to discuss data for a program that doesn't even show them the questions that their students have missed. There is a profound difference between engagement and learning. Clicking through a program is no way to learn. As a district, we are at a crossroads. We have the opportunity to lead the way in the South and make our students and teachers a priority. We can say no to these gamified ed tech programs that are not serving our community best. We can reinvest in human interaction. We can allow teachers the autonomy to practice their professions and follow the child to develop critical thinkers. We should be exploring how to reinvest the $18 million slated for iReady to interventions and small group instruction. I urge the board to reconsider the amount of ed tech used across this district, but especially in elementary and middle schools, where our students' developing minds are the most vulnerable. Our children deserve to have an education rich with meaningful relationships and hand-on experiences, not one where their thoughts and ideas are dominated and dimmed by gamified education.
LaToya Owens and Lorna Burns.
First.
Yes.
All right, good evening. Thank you, board, for the opportunity to speak. I'm Dr. LaToya Owens, and tonight I'm representing as a parent of a second grader and upcoming fifth grader at Lincoln Heights Montessori, where I have been overwhelmingly pleased with the education that they have received with the administration and the teachers. Since my son has been there in kindergarten, though, I have noticed an uptick, a gradual increase, right, in the required time that is spent on iReady each year. This year is the first year that I found it to be disruptive to the implementation of Montessori curriculum. Montessori is a curriculum, Montessori is a culture, and it takes the entire school day to execute the curriculum, and it takes the entire school day to advance that culture and to curate that exists at the school. We started with around 20 minutes, and then we saw it increase 30 minutes, 45 minutes, et cetera. I want you to know that all of those increases are how much we're detracting from their ability to execute the Montessori curriculum. When I was starting in the schools or deciding on schools, and I compared public and private Montessoris, I entered CMS public Montessoris with the understanding that you supported the model and that you would encourage and at least allow the model to be implemented with fidelity. The current implementation is being disrupted by the requirements for iReady on one side, and on the other side, I think the gentleman spoke to the number of what I would call benchmarks that we have for ultimate testing, right? There are a number of types of benchmarks, and then I've seen an increase in the amount of benchmarks during the year. So where we might have done beginning and end, then we moved to beginning, middle, and end, then we moved to beginning, sub-middle, another sub-middle, and now the end. That speaks to disruption in the culture of Montessori, which was once community-oriented. Now you see kids that are test scores, and they're comparing test scores, and they're combative, and they're, thank you. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. My name is Lorna Burns, and I'm the parent of a first grader and a fourth grader in CMS. CMS's mission is to create an innovative, inclusive, student-centered environment that develops independent learners. Any instructional program that requires significant student time should be supported by strong, independent evidence that it improves learning outcomes. I understand CMS's executive summary explaining how iReady is used in our schools. My concern is not whether teachers remain central to learning. My concern is whether the district's expectation that every K-8 student spend 90 minutes per week on iReady is supported by sufficiently strong evidence. The executive summary explains how CMS uses iReady, but it does not present independent evidence that this level of use improves student achievement. Curriculum Associates cites 5 studies in support of iReady. 3 were conducted by the company itself. The remaining studies have important limitations. One focused only on readers reading 20% below grade level and used the iReady diagnostic as the outcome measure. The other found no measurable benefits in math after 1 or 2 years, with limited positive effects only after 3 years in 5th grade. I recognize that in education it is difficult to establish definitive causation, but that challenge cuts both ways. If we cannot definitively prove harm, we also cannot assume benefit. The question is not whether iReady can help some students in some circumstances. The question is whether the evidence justifies requiring every K-8 student in CMS to spend 90 minutes per week on it. Given CMS's commitment to reviewing research and student outcomes, I respectfully ask the board to provide the independent evidence supporting this district-wide expectation. When a district commits thousands of instructional hours and millions of dollars to a program, the burden of proof should be clear, durable, independently replicated benefits. Based on the evidence provided, I do not believe CMS has met that standard. I respectfully ask the board to require stronger independent evidence before continuing or expanding this requirement. Thank you.
Leslie Scott, James Hayes.
Good evening, I am Leslie Scott. I am a first-year teacher. I've worked in the school districts for many, many years. I've worked in various capacities and programs, but what I have found this first year teaching, it is horrible. The classroom that I go into every day, the children are out of control. The classrooms are chaos. The good thing is I know how to manage a classroom, and I know how to talk to children and get their attention. So my time is not wasted like I've seen a lot of other teachers, but I'm old school. So I talk to these kids. What I would want to say is this: anytime you're in a classroom and the teachers are being disrespected like I see going on in some of these African American children in the classroom, and I ask them, do your parents know you cuss like this? Do your parents know that you cuss adults out, your teacher, calling her out of her name? Most of them say no. I have never had a student tell me that it's okay with their parents to be so rude and disrespectful. But you continually hear the teachers in school say, oh, it's at home, it's at home. No, it's at the school. There's peer pressure. And there's no accountability, no accountability. The students with their behavior, it integrated with ELL students. There's no learning. There's no learning. There's no teaching because it's disruptive. The expectation of a these children are fully capable it's low. They're capable, but your expectation is low. You have here girls intimacy going on in the schools. Do parents know this? No. I have not talked to a parent who knows what their children are doing at school and say nobody ever tells them anything. So these children are pretty much running the schools. There's no accountability. The children say whatever they want, do whatever they want, and expect the adults to have to always tiptoe around them. And this is what you're finding. So in order to have a second year, I need to see change. Amen, and God bless you all.
You can begin.
Hi, I'm James. I'm a dad, a PTA officer. I help run a nonprofit, and I've spent the majority of my professional career working in technology. Heck, I've sold to CMS. But I'm not speaking to you as any of those things today. I'm speaking to you as a grown-up IEP kid, someone with ADD, dyslexia, and all the drama that came with it. I want to share something personal because I think it connects to the decisions you are being asked to make. My phone shows me how much time I spend on it and what I specifically do. For years, I've tried to reduce it. I've set limits. I've tried to be more intentional. Honestly, I've failed. I bypassed those limits with a smile. As a 40-year-old man, I've found that having my wife put a passcode on my device has allowed me to use my technology to do the things I want to do. And interestingly, it's also reduced my stress, shame, and effort. I think that's the kind of honesty we need right now. The digital age is moving fast. AI is upon us. And some people are speaking for and against certain technologies, but I think the truth is this. We cannot ask the right questions or make the right decisions unless we are accurately measuring what's happening. That's why I stand before you. I am asking the board to measure active and passive screen time across all of our schools. Without this data, we are guessing. With that data, we're asking better questions, making better decisions, and might even understand the relationship between screen time and iReady, student engagement, and end-of-G performance. So that's why I'm here. I'm asking the board to measure active and passive screen time across our county. That's it. That's what I think and why. So in closing, I want to sincerely thank you for listening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. And most importantly, I want to wish you all the best of luck.
Nikita Desai, James Russell. Is James here? Kalani Bax.
Good evening. My name is Nikita Desai. I am a physician in the community and the mother of a child enrolled in CMS kindergarten. As a medical doctor, I review new research daily to give my patients the best possible care. This sometimes means I must change a treatment plan based on new information that has come to light. Until 2008, clinical practice guidelines recommended delaying the introduction of allergic foods such as peanuts until age 3 years. Although well-intentioned, we now know that these guidelines contributed to a rise in food allergies. We now give food allergens to children as young as 4 months, and this has led to a decrease in food allergies across the board. We improved patient care by having the humility to consider that we might be wrong. Personal screen devices were instituted before and during COVID with the best of intentions. This allowed students to participate in remote learning and improve technology access for underserved communities. As you've heard tonight, we have overwhelming evidence that screen time contributes to less self-control, more distractibility, and lower academic performance. We also know that screens disproportionately harm children with lower socioeconomic status. They have not been the great equalizer that we hoped. The risks of personal screen devices in the classroom for young elementary school children are worse than any small benefit. I'm requesting that CMS School Board align screen time usage with evidence-based practices within education and medical literature and establish clear limits on non-essential screen time use during the day. It is not too late to admit that we are wrong. Please seek input from the community and give parents an opt-out until we have better data and we have a clear path forward. I'm begging you. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for inviting us to present public comments. I am Kaylani Backus, and I am a CMS parent of a rising first grader, and I'm here to talk about iReady and basically echo everything that's already been said about the amount of screen time that's being allowed in schools, especially elementary and middle schools. Some of the concerns are that the diagnostic assessments are lengthy and can cause undue stress and anxiety for young learners. Screen-based instruction replaces valuable teacher-led and peer-to-peer learning time. I would really love to see more hands-on learning time. The one-size-fits-all lesson pathways do not account for the diverse learning styles and needs in our classrooms. And one personal example I have is one of my son's classmates has to wear hearing aids and finds it frustrating with some of the loud noises that come from some of the iReady technology and learning, and is finding it difficult to complete some of those assessments. Teachers have expressed that iReady results do not always align with their professional observations of student ability, and we don't know what student data that is collected and stored by third-party vendors is being used for, if it's, privatized. The extent of data sharing and long-term retention policies remain unclear to parents. So I do respectfully request that you guys reconsider renewing your contract and just consider alternative, more hands-on learning for our elementary and middle school and just all public schools.
Danielle Steele, Jen Bourne.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Danielle Steele, and I am the parent of a CMS kindergartner. As the board considers the renewal of the iReady contract on June 30th, with a budgeted cost of approximately $18 million, I am asking for greater transparency and accountability before moving forward. Parents still have many unanswered questions. What is the required or recommended amount of iReady time across the district, and why does that seem to vary from school to school? Now that EOG testing has concluded, what does the data show about relationship between iReady scores and EOG performance? Is iReady improving student growth, and if so, by how much? Has there been an independent evaluation of its effectiveness? I also question why a single EdTech program is being used across such a large and diverse district when schools and students have different needs. Is iReady intended primarily as an intervention tool, or has it become a core instructional tool? In some classrooms, students are being introduced to new concepts through software rather than through direct instruction from a teacher, particularly in math. Parents deserve to understand the rationale behind that shift. Beyond academics, we need to consider what is being traded away. 90 minutes per week is real instructional time. If children are spending that time on a screen, they are not spending it reading with a teacher, engaging in hands-on learning, collaborating with classmates, solving problems together, or participating in meaningful play. As a 41-year-old, I still remember building, creating, reading, exploring, and playing during school. These experiences helped shape the person I am. Play is not a luxury for young children. It is essential to learning. Through play, children develop attention, creativity, problem-solving skills, self-regulation, communication, and social-emotional skills. As concerns continue to grow about the effects of excessive screen use on attention spans and dopamine-seeking behaviors, especially among students who already struggle with attention and focus, we should be asking whether more screen-based learning is the right solution. Thank you.
Hi, I have seen many of you earlier in the week, and I appreciate you listening on Sunday when we were sharing with you, those of you that were there. This is hard because this is my third meeting in 3 months. In April, I shared about 50% of the instructional time being used for testing. And we're hearing from parents over the past 3 months things that education professionals know. Research-based, evidence-based, childhood development-based strategies. And I am so confused about why it is a newscast. It's making the news. It's crazy to me. Anyway, that's not even what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about Garinger High School because I love my job. I teach at Garinger High School. I've been there 3 years, and I would never go anywhere else. Dr. Clemens doesn't know I'm speaking, so you don't need to call her and tell her that, oh, Ms. Bourne said this. Thanks. I know that happens because it's happened to my colleagues in the district. But I'm here to talk about Garinger High School and share some data because I know y'all love data. Hours and hours of meetings spent on data. So here's some data for you. According to the Educator Experience Check that was administered in January, February, only 47% of the 8,800 staff surveyed would recommend CMS as a place to work. 73%, this is the good news, 73% would recommend their work sites. So I am asking you to find out where those work sites are and find out what they're doing, because Garinger High School is not one of those work sites. And the reason for that is because we are on our 4th administrator in 3 years. And now you want to put a parking lot on our front yard. So I used all my time. It wasn't enough. I'll be back.
Ms. Bourne or any other speakers that were not able to complete their comments, please feel free to email the board. Our last speaker for this evening is Scotty Miller.
Good evening. My name is Scotty Miller. I'm here speaking this evening not only as a parent, but a mental health therapist regarding the concerns with iReady and screen time in the schools. From a mental health perspective, we are seeing a shift in children's brains since COVID due to the increased screen time. Some of the negative effects are lack of comprehension and understanding when having conversations, a challenging time processing thoughts and ideas, a lack of both basic social interactions, social anxiety, with one of the most challenging being overstimulated, causing agitation, sleep issues, addiction to screens, and trouble regulating emotions. Screen time in iReady is contributing to all of these concerns. I'm here this evening asking the board to really think about what we are doing to these kids, their developments, physically, mentally, and emotionally. I'm asking to understand the who, what, where, when, why, and hows. Who is regulating the screen time across the board and in schools? What is the benefit of iReady and screen time? Where is the boundary for protecting the kids? When is it too much? Why is the access to computers constant, even past iReady allotment? How is appropriate screen time being determined? I'm asking the board to think about these reasons for bringing screen time into the schools. Not only iReady, but kids have access to the computers outside of iReady time and inappropriate material on school computers. This is not regulated. Our kids are not being protected. This needs to change. Please hold off on the iReady contract, scale back on screen time, and do the proper research. Let's protect the kids,
They need their brains and bodies to be as healthy as possible, and we have to give them this chance. Thank you for your time and attention to this matter.
That concludes our public comments for this evening. I turn to Dr. Hill for the voluntary separations and promotions report through June 9th, 2026.
As presented.
I turn to Dr. Hill for the Student Outcomes Focused Governance Guardrail 1 Interim Measure 1.3 report.
As presented.
I turn to Dr. Hill for the Student Outcomes Focused Governance Goal 3 Interim Measure 3.1 report.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good evening. Tonight, I'm sharing an example of the progress we're seeing in Middle School Math 1, aligned to Goal 3. Across our schools, focused attention on instruction and student support is translating into stronger outcomes for students, particularly in college and career-ready performance. Our team visited Randolph Middle School to capture the powerful example of this work, where intentional leadership and aligned instructional practices are driving meaningful improvements in student learning. You will hear directly from Principal Dr. Mavity and staff about what this work looks like in practice and how it's impacting daily learning experiences. Their voices highlight the impact of collaboration, data-informed decision-making, and a shared commitment to rigor and access for students. Most importantly, you'll hear from students who describe how these efforts are building their confidence, engagement, and growth in math. I am so proud to share this example of endless possibilities when strong systems and strong instruction come together.
The vision is to ensure that the confidence, especially in math, the confidence that our kids and our staff have together in providing resources for the parents, we build that confidence throughout the year. What effective Math 1 instruction looks like is a variety, but number one is engagement, right? Engagement is huge. We have to see where students are doing more of the cognitive lift and the teacher is more facilitating. One of the things we really approach is academic monitoring here, giving that student real-time feedback, but also that engagement and where that academic discourse is so important and really teaching our staff to have that academic or be able to have that academic discourse amongst the students. Because at the end of the day, the students need to be talking with each other. Strategies and supports that are helpful in students who need different interventions. Number one, our academic enrichment time is invaluable. And the reason why that is it does allow our teachers to provide that individualized small group instruction, which is what we're big on here. Within the small group instruction, it is very targeted as far as support and being able to progress monitor that support over a period of time, make sure we're prescribing the right medication, so to speak, and then we actually reassess the whole class to make sure that no students, regardless if they were in that small group or not, fell through the cracks.
What has helped me the most in learning Math 1 this year is just learning new equations and solving for values of x. Now, I love the letter x because, you get to find what value x is, and it could be anything. And just learning different types of strategies to help me solve equations more faster than just standard basic ones that I've been taught in elementary or in my previous year in middle school. Just like being in Math 1 in the first place, ever since last year I heard that there was a Math 1 class, I was really determined to be in it, and I immediately got access to it, so I didn't have to take the screener, and I was very happy of it, and I'm very thankful to be in Math 1 since I'm able to use those high school credits and learn more math in high school when I graduate from middle school.
For me, it's just practice, right? If I can teach it to someone else, I understand it, and if I practice it, I can help teach it to someone else. So teaching it to someone else is what I would consider practice, and that's the best way to learn.
We look at where do we think kids might struggle? How do we want to teach it? What are we doing to ensure that it makes sense? Like when we know that it looks a little bit tricky when we do it ourselves, it's tricky for the kids too. One of the things we really focus on are the student outcomes through our data. So when we are looking, we always know where the kids are. We know from the beginning of the year what their projections are. We use that data when we do iReady, when we do MVPA, when we look at how they're performing on those unit assessments. All of that is taken into consideration. Are they meeting their target and their goals?
Miss Runkle, our teacher, has definitely helped me a lot because during summer before we started Math 1, my dad tried to help me and I didn't really understand it. And then once she started teaching us how to do functions and everything, it kind of just clicked because she's really good at explaining stuff and helping me fix my mistakes, which had a big impact on me this year, getting good grades and doing good on my final. I want to expand my knowledge on topics I've already learned and I've already mastered because that's going to be fun, and since I already know how to do a lot, I just want to get a deeper understanding into them and get more practice so I can do better in high school.
I like that it's very organized. We have a schedule, we have a rotation. She sticks with that. We start off with a bell ringer. She'll let us do independent work, and then she'll always go over it with us to make sure we understand. We'll usually start with guided notes or something like that, and then she'll try to elaborate on it more. She'll ask us if we have any questions, and then she'll always just make sure that we understand it, and then she'll go really into depth about it. I want to be a surgeon, and I think that what we're learning in math is very particular almost. I'm not sure if I have a word for it. It's very detailed, and I think being detailed oriented will help me as a surgeon. I'm just really glad that I got in. I really wanted to, and I'm really glad that I'm in because I'm getting high school credits, and it's really fun, and I feel like I'm really being pushed to above my level, and I'm being challenged in an appropriate way, and that just makes me feel really happy.
Thank you very much, Randolph Middle School and Dr. Mavity for that video. Before I get started, when this monitoring report was created, our final benchmark data indicated we were off track to meet this year's annual targets. So when we get further in the report, you will see a lot of red lights. The strategies that we have put into place have worked. And based on our current reality, because right now we are on the next to last day of school, so we have end of year data that we typically don't have when we do these monitoring reports that I can't necessarily share this evening, but what I can tell you is that we are definitely progressing. The 5-year goal is to increase the percent of students scoring college and career ready on Math 1 end of course assessments from 27% in June of 2023 to 57% in June of 2029. Tonight, I'm reporting on the results from our final MVPA benchmark assessment of this school year. We will report on the final EOC results during the October 2026 Board of Education meeting. First, I will share the overall Goal 3 performance for middle and high school combined. This graph shows the percentage of students achieving college and career ready, that's a level 4 or 5 on the final benchmark this year, compared to the CMS annual target for this year. Based on our MVPA, 27% of middle school and high school students were projected to reach CCR. This projection of 27% is 2 percentage points lower than the end-of-year performance for middle and high school students at the end of the 24-25 school year. We need to improve our CCR percentage by an additional 15 percentage points to reach our target. Here you see the same information, just in a different way. This slide shows the information about students who have taken the final Math 1 benchmark this school year. These numbers will include all students within middle and high schools with the final MVPA projection. Now let's take a look at the performance for middle school students taking Math 1, the focus of this monitoring report. Currently, 62% of students in grades 6 through 8 are projected to reach CCR based on the final benchmark assessment. This projection is a decrease of 12 percentage points over end-of-year Math 1, end-of-course performance by students in grades 6 through 8 for the 24-25 school year. That is why the current status for this interim measure is off track, but not really. Here's a look at the same information, just in a different way.
This slide shows information about middle school students who have taken the final Math 1 benchmark for the year. And at this time, I will stop and turn it over to Chair Sneed to facilitate any questions.
All right, board members will follow, thank you, Dr. Hill. The board members will follow our normal cadence and have backwards-looking questions. Board membership.
All right, as we look on page 9, and you talked a little bit about now we're progressing, but we're looking at 80% here being the target with we're at 62% now. So we have about 18%. And also that caution there, I want to question, because you're saying we performed higher on the actual EOCs than the final benchmark predictions. So what does that tell us about the MVPA benchmark versus how we see the EOCs?
Yes, ma'am. So the report that we give this time of the year is always the most difficult because this is the only report that we have actual summative results that we obviously can't share during the meeting. So it's always a little bit difficult to report on that. What I can say specific to the Math 1 benchmark is, I believe last time there was a question that was asked about how closely aligned were our projections to our actuals. This year, the way in which we gave our Math 1 benchmark, if you'll recall, last year, there was lots of discussion in terms of the number of assessments that we gave, and we worked really closely with the teachers and principals, district leaders, to scale back on the number of assessments that we were going to give. As a result, our Math 1 benchmark is not necessarily a true, strong projection because some of the content is not taught at the time that we give the assessment. So basically what that means is when we give the assessment, it's an opportunity to see how students are projected to do on content they've already been taught, as well as how well they're projected to do on content they have not been taught, which from an instructional lens our teachers use as a way to, as a pretest. In other words, having a really good idea what students need to work on. So that's how we've used the data. The good thing is that we don't just rely on one data point. Our teachers are using multiple pieces of data during the day. You saw the video there where teachers are just monitoring what students are doing, how they're responding to questions, and how they're interacting with that academic discourse. All of that information put together, we have used in terms of strategy, and we know that the strategies that we've put in place have worked, because if I could rewrite this report right now in real time, we would be progressing.
All right, and a follow-up to that would be, so you have those 435 students as we look at page 10 that are not quite there. So what are we doing here? And I looked at the appendix, so I'm kind of pulling from everywhere, but I looked at the appendix on page 21, where we see our 6th graders are doing very well. And we see our 8th graders are not doing as well. So what kids are we the most focused on as we look at trying to meet this goal in these additional students?
Can you tell me what page that was again? I'm sorry.
In the appendix, I'm looking at page 10, talking about the 435 additional students needed to reach. And then I said page 21 for the appendix.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, so as we look at this data, I'm actually going to go to a strategy slide just to speak to that, if it's okay. If we can go to slide 43.
Okay.
In the appendix. So I just want to speak to respond to your question about how teachers use the resources that they have to achieve mastery. So the first thing that we did in response to this data is the teaching and learning team created a Canvas course for the teachers to make sure, number one, that all teachers, 100% of our teachers had access to the resources. Number two, that they knew the purpose and function of those resources that we were providing, and then also felt confident with the ability to use them along with the support of the master teacher. Then this slide just really speaks to the things that we did. So the first thing that we did is they took a look and analyzed the MVPA benchmark data and identified gaps for students, as you just spoke, in terms of the different grade levels, the specific standards that we had the largest gaps. We also, as I have spoke to in previous sessions, is we have our dashboard now, where we know where each individual student is, where each individual student should be, and how they're progressing in terms of their last assessment. Then the next thing that we did is we used our response to benchmark tools to make a plan to close those gaps for each of those individual students. The third thing that we did is we strengthened our re-engagement with professional development. So all of our teachers participated in professional development specific to small group instruction. So you hear us, I see your face light up. We talk a lot about small group instruction at the elementary level. It's not, we don't necessarily see that in the past in middle school and high school. However, we have been very strategic because we know how important engagement is for students to participate in that academic discourse, the conversations between each other, as well as to have the teacher working right alongside them to support. So those are some of the very specific things that we've done when we receive the data in terms of how to respond and to make sure that every student was getting exactly what they needed to move. We're trying to move all students to be a level 4 or 5, regardless of where they are.
Thank you. I've done my follow-up already.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yeah, just to follow up, thank you for that. When we look at the 8th and 9th grade, still on page 21, the 9th grade students are at 14.2%. They also have the largest students. Is there something, is there root cause analysis? Just want to dig a little deeper. Is there something that between 8th and 9th grade that's going on that?
Yes, sir. For Math 1, as you know, Math 1 is a high school course. We offer it in middle school. And for students to take Math 1 in middle school, there's a specific criteria that we follow. We have worked really hard to ensure that all students, to ensure equity and access to Math 1 for students that meet that criteria. So the students that are in Math 1 would be our advanced students, and students that are taking high school Math 1 are students that are just they're exactly where they need to be. They're not below level, they're not above, they're exactly where they need to be. So that's why you see a little bit of a difference in students that are taking 8th grade in Math 1, because that is a high school course, and we would fully expect students that are enrolled in a high school course to be performing at a really high level. We have that same expectation for students in 9th grade as well, but the students that are taking that course in 8th grade are already students that are advanced level students. So that's why you see a bit of a discrepancy there.
Any other backwards looking questions?
Yeah. In my tactical questions, I was referring specifically to what is on slide 13, strategic adjustments in the theory of change, talking about high quality core instruction, talking about the core action walks. And first, if we could just run down in the core action walks, what's worked that we've observed and what hasn't worked around what we've seen in our outcomes.
Yes, sir. In our core action walks, we're particularly looking for 3 different things for core actions. So in the first core action, we are assessing standards aligned instruction. So just making sure that the instruction that's being provided is aligned to the standards. That's the first thing that we're looking for. Core Action 2 is measures of academic monitoring, and then Core Action 3 is measures of academic discourse. If it's okay to answer your question, I really want to speak specifically to Core Action 2 and Core Action 3, because it's just a non-negotiable that instruction should be aligned to the standards.
Right.
So I'll speak more to 2 and 3. So one of the things that we are seeing that is working specifically with Core Action 2 is the small group instruction. As I mentioned, we have seen that across all of our middle schools. Our assistant superintendents have done an excellent job with that, making sure that that is a non-negotiable. So seeing that framework is there. One of the things that we are noticing is that we need to continue to ensure that during that small group instruction time, we're focused and using the assessments to drive what's happening during that time. The other thing that I would say is during the Core Action walks, we have been doing a really good job in checking for understanding through a variety of ways. That's not necessarily an assessment, but just a ticket out of the door, exit ticket. Teachers are doing an excellent job with that. One of the things that we know that we need to focus on is the rigor of the questions that we're asking, because ensuring that students are using reasoning, justifying their responses, and making those mathematical connections, because those are the things that we know are level 4 or 5 in terms of the rigor of the standard. And then the other thing that I will say in terms of Core Action 3 is, and this goes along what I just talked about, that our teachers and students are really engaged in the math task and problem-solving activities. But again, the thing that we are focused on specifically for next year is ensuring that students are articulating, defending, and critiquing their answers. Because again, those are things that we need students to do to be a level 4 or 5. It reminds me, Dr. Hatch sits on our AI committee, not in her capacity as a board member, but in her daytime job with the city of Charlotte. And one of the things that we talked about in our last superintendent's AI advisory in terms of AI is the need for us to focus heavily on problem-solving skills and critical thinking. And so while this has nothing to do with AI, you will see that that's definitely the focus here and the thing that we really need to work on. So the structure is there. Teachers are doing exactly what we need to do. It's standard-aligned instruction. We just need to focus more on the mathematical discourse and really pushing students to explain their answers, defend their answers. That really is that academic discourse that we're looking for.
Okay, no problem. For me, of course, we know everything needs to be standard aligned. We have a core curriculum that we utilize, ensure it's done, but it's being implemented with fidelity, right?
Yes.
For me, I want to, is there a time where there's an observation around the actual art of teaching, that a teacher has the actual skill set? And you can get up there and just say, and do the curriculum, but I'm talking about observing. Does a teacher really have the art in a mix of the science of how to really engage students? Is there a time, because it didn't sound like that's going on in the Core Action walks, but is there a time when that type of observation takes place?
Yes, that would exactly be the art of the teaching.
Okay.
Because the science would be using the data to drive the instruction. Mm-hmm. The art would be the types of questions that you're asking. A huge piece that we as teachers really have to focus on is stepping back and being able to facilitate instruction and not necessarily provide direct instruction. There's a time and place for direct instruction, but the ability to ask questions, allow students the opportunity for that academic discourse takes a lot of planning, and that's a lot of the art. So there really is the art and science of teaching the instructional practices that go together.
Okay, thank you.
Board Member Monterey Duval.
Thank you. Dr. Hill, I've asked this question, I've noticed this before and we've talked about it. When I say it, you'll remember, hopefully it's around my overall assessment that I believe that even though we are progressing, there's still a systemic underlying thing that is not allowing us to hockey stick in growth like we have in other categories and areas as it relates to our goals and guardrails. Do we have a pulse on what this is? I know you mentioned, I heard things about academic discourse and critical thinking. Is there anything else that can be changed in the strategy that can create that? And I'm thinking, like, do we have enough teachers that are licensed in math? Like, what, is there something that, and I'm like, it's not, of course there's not a magic wand for everything, but I do feel from a gut, there's a systemic thing happening here that's disrupting our growth. And so to reiterate, do we have a pulse on that? What do you think that is? And how are we gonna progress? And can we support you as a board to unblock that?
Thank you for that. So two things. I feel I'm looking forward to October 2026, to say that. The other thing that I will say is just to go back to the slide that's here, a huge shift that we have changed is the delivery of instruction, specifically for middle school and for high schools, in terms of how we're providing instruction. So I spoke a little bit about direct instruction, which there's definitely a piece of that. But what we see more in our elementary schools is the small group instruction, the opportunity for students to engage, that academic discourse. Now, when you go into classrooms in middle school and in high school, you see, I was just at West Charlotte a couple of weeks ago and went into a math class, and the students are given a problem to solve. The students are standing around a big chart that's similar to this, that's glossed over. They're writing on it with markers. They're off at the table solving the problem. The teacher is teacher assistant, and then it was an EC inclusion class. The inclusion teacher was walking around monitoring. So there has been a radical shift in the way that instruction is delivered in our classroom, and the primary emphasis, again, is step one is ensuring that the lesson is aligned to the standards, but that is the floor. The second piece of that is the radical change in the way that you see instruction delivered in the classroom. And so when we go in, we talk to students, of course, they're reporting that they are enjoying the opportunity to work with each other, to have that interaction, to solve problems together, and then to have an opportunity to share their understanding. And that is not just at West Charlotte. I saw it earlier at East Mecklenburg. I know we're talking about middle schools today. It's happening at Ranson Middle School. I see proud Dr. Jones sitting there with a big smile on her face. It shares lots of pictures with me, as well as Miss Willoughby as well, our middle school assistant superintendents. So that's what I would say, and the data that you have in front of you today, there is a huge shift in what you will see in October.
Any other backwards questions? All right, any forward-facing? Dr. Hedge?
Yep. Thank you, Dr. Hill. So, looking forward to October, but based off what you know, the strategies that have been working, are there any different things that you are planning to do from a strategy perspective, or are you confident that what we're doing is working, and so the strategies we have before us, might not be modified?
Yes, I would say that what we're doing is working. Strategies will always be slightly modified because we're always focused on continuous improvement. The thing that I love about this process is we learn something new every year. We start implementing something. We work very closely with our teachers to determine what needs to be changed. And the exciting thing is we're able to do that thing closer to the beginning of the year. I know one of the things that we did last year, and we did it again this year, is the intentional work with our specialists in terms of being in schools during a certain point in the year. This year it happened right mid-third quarter. Last year it was a little bit later than that. You've heard us talk about the change in our service delivery model, where learning and teaching is now together with the school performance area. So what we anticipate is that our assistant superintendents who work very closely together as a unit, for example, our middle school assistant superintendents work very closely together. They now will have that full complement of specialists beginning, I mean, they have them now, but at the beginning of the year, they did not have that at the beginning of this year. They'll be able to be really strategic in identifying schools that need additional support and being able to send that support in a unified way out to the schools. So that is one strategy that we're really excited about. The other thing that I will say is what we're learning in our mathematics performance for our students who are in elementary and lower middle school moving up. Their performance continues to track with a really high trajectory. So what we're learning is the things that our elementary and middle school teachers are putting in place in terms of instruction is really going to pay dividends when those students start moving into Math 1 for middle school or Math 1 for high school. So multiple things happening at once, but definitely while this goal is focused just on Math 1, definitely want to speak to the great work that's happening in elementary and lower middle school as well.
As a follow-up, maybe leveraging on kind of Board Member Monterey Duvall's question, if we are, feeling kind of squarely progressing, if we were to take a look at our subgroups, would we also feel like those subgroups are squarely progressing, or are there different things that we still need to investigate to see those groups moving as well?
Yeah, so unfortunately, in terms of current data, we don't have access to that level of granularity at this point, disaggregated. I just have big picture numbers. But what our previous data tells us that gaps exist, and I know that gaps still remain. So continuing to work on that, I would say that the number one data is just data unless you're using it for a purpose. And so our teachers have been intentional on using that data and turning that data into something that's purposeful and meaningful in order to support students' growth. And that is definitely true for students that have historically have underperformed.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Dr. Hill. I now turn to Dr. Hill for the revised plan in response to the 2024 Comprehensive Review, Policy S-ASGP.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, I will ask Dr. Balknight to come forward to provide the revised plan.
Thank you, Dr. Hill. Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the board. Thank you for the opportunity to be with you today. In December 2024, staff completed the comprehensive data review of Policy S-ASGP, and on January 31st, 2025, the board provided clear direction on priorities moving forward. Tonight, we are pleased to present the 25-26 revised superintendent's recommendations in response to that review. Our presentation today is organized into 3 sections. We will begin with an overview of Policy S-ASGP, then transition into program choice, and conclude with transition options to support students and families. We will walk through each section in detail. As with all of our work, this plan is grounded in the district strategic plan. This visual is known as our placemat. The comprehensive review and resulting recommendations align with our goals, guardrails, and commitments to academic excellence, operational efficiency, and meaningful engagement. This ensures that every decision supports our broader mission of delivering excellence without exception. All recommendations presented today are grounded in policy S-ASGP, our student assignment plan. This policy provides the framework that guides how we balance access, equity, and operational effectiveness across the district. Policy S-ASGP requires a comprehensive review at least every 4 years, allowing the board to assess progress and set priorities. The current draft plan reflects not only that required review, but also the board's direction to develop targeted, data-informed recommendations. The policy outlines 5 key goals that guide our work. Our focus includes equitable access, viable programs, and maximum efficiency with the use of facilities and transportation. We have highlighted goals A and B, which are the board-directed goals for this phase of the comprehensive review. Every recommendation in this plan aligns directly with goals A and B, while also supporting implementation of bond projects. Step 1 of this work began in February of 2026. This included the initial draft presentation, community engagement, and stakeholder feedback in March and April. Staff shared the initial superintendent's recommendation in April. The board provided feedback that included a request for additional community engagement. Today, I'm sharing a revised recommendation that includes feedback from the additional community engagement. A public hearing is scheduled for June 23rd, 2026, and a board proposed vote will be held on August 11th, 2026. The phase of this project will begin in the fall of 2026 and focus on the boundaries aligned to bond projects. This will include additional community engagement. A presentation of the final draft plan will be presented on October the 27th, 2026, and a public hearing will be held on November the 10th, 2026, and a proposed vote on December the 8th, 2026. A key priority throughout this process has been proactive and transparent communication. We received great feedback from the board, and we had some conversations at our last presentation in community engagement. We directly reached over 142,000 families in Parent Square, achieving a 97.5% contact rate, supported by strong social media engagement and targeted outreach. Additionally, we conducted 126 community listening sessions and collected over 400 responses, ensuring robust stakeholder input. You can also see numerous other ways that outreach occurred during the March and April engagement. We were able to go back out into the community, and we also expanded our outreach through in-person community events, direct phone calls to families, and targeted media engagement. This included partnerships with community organizations, outreach to students, and interviews with media outlets, including radio, spots, podcasts, and local news to ensure broad awareness and access to information. A coordinated effort by the Student Programs Planning and Placement team included approximately 1,000 personalized phone calls to families of potentially impacted students. So staff called 1,000 families and talked with them, and also directed them to provide feedback as well to our website. Following each call, they received a follow-up email with the presentation materials and a link to submit feedback. A central shift in this work is moving from a system focused on school choice to one centered on program choice. This allows us to better align student interest, program quality, and available capacity of programs. Under the proposed framework, 6 program themes will be offered: arts, Montessori, STEM, world languages, and IB, LITD will provide a full K-12 continuum, while early college will serve grades 9 through 12. This structure creates clearer pathways, improves predictability for families, and increases equitable access to high-quality options. As shared on March the 15th, we have paused any recommendations related to IB, LITD. As a result, these programs will not be included in today's presentation. We will re-engage the community on these topics after Step 2 is completed, which is our fall engagement. That is anticipated to conclude in December of 2026. Montessori will not be included in today's presentation, as there are no proposed changes or recommendations at this time for a change to the existing program. This model provides several key benefits. It will provide predictability to families, expand access to high-quality programs closer to home, and support balanced enrollment. These pathways are offered in each transportation zone or our district-wide choice programs. I will take a moment to pause here to highlight our transportation map. You see it is color-coded by transportation zones. We have 3 transportation zones shown on this map. This framework preserves multiple options for families, including magnet, program choice, and neighborhood schools. Students entering a choice program will receive a guaranteed pathway, while all students retain access to their assigned home school. We will now review each program theme, beginning with visual and performing arts. It is recommended that the Visual and Performing Arts Choice Program no longer be offered effective 2027-2028 at Crestdale Middle School, Greenway Park Elementary, Long Creek Elementary. However, it is important to emphasize that all schools will continue to offer arts enrichment opportunities to ensure continued access for students. Next, we will review the World Languages theme. The proposed model strengthens alignment across K-12 pathways and transportation zones. Recommendations include clearer feeder patterns into high schools, refined service areas, and maintaining the Japanese language program as a countywide magnet option. These updates provide greater consistency and clarity for families while supporting program sustainability. It is recommended that North Academy of World Languages feed into North Mecklenburg High School, North Academy of World Languages continue to serve the Violet Transportation Zone, Oaklawn Language Academy feed into North Mecklenburg High School, Oaklawn Language Academy continue to serve the Violet Transportation Zone, and Charlotte East Language Academy feed into Garinger High School. Charlotte East Language Academy continue to serve the Green Transportation Zone. It is also recommended that Collingswood Language Academy will feed into South Mecklenburg High School. Collingswood Language Academy will continue to serve the Blue Transportation Zone. The South Academy of International Languages will feed into South Mecklenburg High School. South Academy of International Languages will no longer serve the Violet Transportation Zone. The Japanese program will continue to remain a countywide magnet at South Academy of International Languages, and the Japanese program will remain a countywide magnet program at South Mecklenburg High School. It is recommended that the following programs be added at Garinger High School: World Languages. It is recommended that the following programs at Garinger High School no longer be included in the program offerings beginning in the fall of 2028, as previously voted in April of 2023. Cambridge and Exercise Science. Here is another visual of the recommended K-12 continuum for World Languages. Next, we'll review the STEM program. The STEM continuum will be strengthened through clearer pathways and targeted program adjustments. This includes removing programs at select schools beginning in the 27-28 school year, while expanding access through the new program at Grove Park Elementary. Second Ward is proposed to operate as a full magnet serving all transportation zones, reinforcing access and program quality beginning the 28-29 school year. It is recommended that a new STEM program be added to the following schools: Grove Park Elementary School in the 27-28 school year, Second Ward High School in the 28-29 school year. It is recommended that the STEM Choice Program no longer be offered effective 27-28 at Northeast Middle School, Walter G. Byers K-8 School, Whitewater Middle School, Wilson STEM Academy, and Harding University High School. It is recommended that Second Ward High School serve the blue, green, and violet transportation zones. Second Ward High School operates as a full magnet program. Bruns Avenue Elementary School feed into Coolwood STEM. Coolwood STEM feed into Philip O'Berry and Second Ward. DJV Academy at Parkside Elementary School feed into Coolwood STEM, and Paw Creek Elementary feed into Coolwood STEM. It is recommended that Governor's Village Lower feed into Governor's Village Upper, Governor's Village Upper feed into Philip O'Berry or Second Ward High School, Oakhurst STEM feed into McClintock Middle, McClintock Middle feed into Philip O'Berry High School or Second Ward High School, Grove Park Elementary School feed into Northridge Middle School, Northridge Middle School feed into Philip O'Berry or Second Ward High School, Ray Farms STEAM K-8 feed into Philip O'Berry or Second Ward, Wingate Park Elementary feed into Kennedy Middle School, and Kennedy Middle School feed into Philip L. Berry High School or Second Ward High School. Here's another view of the STEM continuum for the 27-28 school year, showing Philip L. Berry as a STEM high school. Second Ward will be included as a continuum high school starting in the 28-29 school year, as it is projected to be finished. It is a bond project beginning of the school year of 28-29. Next, we will review early and middle college programs. The recommendation is to transition Harper, Levine, Maracus Middle College programs into early colleges beginning in the 27-28 school year, each serving a transportation zone. The current early colleges, Central Piedmont, Charlotte Teachers, Charlotte Engineering, and Hawthorne remain countywide magnets receiving students from all transportation zones. This allows students to begin their college pathway in 9th grade rather than 11th grade, increasing access and opportunity at the same time. This strengthens program coherence and aligns access across transportation zones. We have adjusted our recommendation to include maintaining the middle college at Cato. We received great feedback in our second feedback opportunity, and this recommendation reflects that community feedback and recognizes the campus central location within the green transportation zone. As middle colleges do not provide transportation, we believe this is more centrally located, and there are 2 middle colleges within the green transportation zone. Selecting the most centrally located campus, which is Cato, providing the strongest option for student access. In summary, it is recommended that the Cato Middle College remain a middle college. It is recommended that the following middle colleges transition to early colleges, adding 9th and 10th grade students to all programs: Harper, Levine, and Maracus. It is recommended that Harper serve the blue transportation zone, Levine serve the green transportation zone, and Maracus serve the violet transportation zone. We will now shift to transition options designed to support students and families. Families have clear options during implementation. Students in terminal grades may remain at their current school with transportation provided for that year. During the 27-28 school year, 5th and 8th grade students will have priority placement within their program theme, and the team will work closely with families to ensure a smooth transition. As a recap, to review next steps on the timeline, a revised recommendation has been presented today. A public hearing is scheduled for June the 23rd, 2026, and a proposed board vote is scheduled for August the 11th, 2026. Thank you for your time, and I will now turn it over to Chair Sneed for questions.
All right, thank you, Dr. Balknight. Board members, you have questions? Dr. Hatch?
Thank you, Dr. Balknight. Can you clarify, I know you said it, but I want to make sure I'm clear, is that if I am in a countywide magnet and/or at a magnet within my transportation zone, any one of those scenarios, I will get transportation?
That is correct. Other than currently, we do not offer transportation for the middle college, and we've recommended one to remain.
Okay. Does the transportation zone look differently? Like, you know, some of the things or feedback I'm hearing from parents is around community stops versus, is that part of this, or?
I'll ask Chief Ivy to come up and speak to that part of the question about the community stops.
Express stops.
Thank you. So is the question about express stops or community stops?
I'm not sure. Yeah,
Okay.
so if you want to maybe answer to both.
Sure. So our express stops are currently with our high school students. And so that is the model we use with our home-based high school students. Community-based stops are where the communities come together to identify a stop that they feel like they could get to, that we then bring the bus there and pick them up. So based off what the recommendation is, we would then begin working on Part B and go through that whole scenario, determining, do we need to increase and bring back a recommendation for a community, adding any community-based stops or expanding express stops. But at this current time, it does not impact that.
So, thank you for that. So if we're approving the countywide magnets, at this point, we're not approving or saying whether or not, if it's countywide, there's no kind of, for lack of a better word, like okey-doke where, now parents are going to be emailing us saying they're not going to get the transportation that they're expecting. If that happens, that's coming later.
That is correct. So once the board makes the approval, then we would begin working on the how we would make that work with transportation, the exact how, all the way down to the finite details.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. My second question is related to just trying to understand, is there anything from like a family perspective, similar to what we just heard, that family lift, that you could speak to about, we understand the terminal grades, but also people whose programs might be ended, that would be helpful for the board to know?
Yes, ma'am. So a couple things. So we really worked to clarify the transition, wanted to make sure that families were clear. So if you have a child that's in a terminal grade, the year that this will begin, which is the 27-28 school year, things would operate for you as usual. You would get bus transportation, you would be able to finish your program because we've made commitments to those families, as was shared earlier. But if you're, for example, in the 7th grade, then we would work with you, and if you decided you wanted your child to continue, then we would honor that commitment to you to stay at that school if you want to remain in that school. And you could stay in that school, but we would not provide transportation. And so also if that program was ending, then you could stay in the school, but you would not still have access to the program, if that makes sense.
Yep.
The other thing that I will add is that was shared earlier. We talked very early in this process that CTE programming is something that every student has access to. So anything that's identified as CTE that was talked about earlier students would still have access, and that's based on interest and job markets. So we'll make sure that we provide clarity for that moving forward. That CTE has not been mentioned because that has not been a consideration to be removed or eliminated.
Thank you, and that was helpful clarity to me. I think trying to understand the difference
Yes, ma'am.
between what is a magnet offering that's being eliminated and what is considered a CTE program. So thank you for that. Thank you.
All right, board member Shipp.
Yes, looking at STEM programs, and I see where I want to talk a little bit about Hardin High School, and I think that came up tonight. Hardin High School has lost the STEM program, if I'm correct, right? What is that? What is there? What are they looking at? And I don't know if I don't think that's what we're talking about tonight, but what programs do we have there at Hardin since we are moving?
That's a great question. So Harding High School had computer science. The state, I believe, 2 years ago, they now require, and we are doing that now with all of our students, that students have access to computer science. That is also really under the umbrella of CTE. So as we think about what I just shared earlier, that we are making sure that every student has access to computer science, that's a requirement, and we believe that's important. In addition, we also intend to continue to build out based on job market and interest in our community partners, our CTE pathways. So they will continue to increase their CTE offerings at Harding, just like every other comprehensive high school will. So that's not going away, that's actually increasing, but that is not a part of program choice. That's a requirement that we offer to all students. And that's one of the things that we talked about early on in this process, that oftentimes is what confused families because so many things were put together and they assumed they had to leave their home high school to have access to something, whereas those things are even offered at their home schools. And so they will all have CTE pathways in their high schools, which would be separate and apart from program choice.
I'm looking at Oakhurst STEM. I'm gonna go back to where that was. Yes, that's under STEM too. The green zone, they're going from middle school to McClintock, but then their high school choice would be Philip O'Berry across the county.
So in the first year of this proposal, in 27-28, Second Ward would not be available. So that's why you see there are two transportation or two visuals. So in 28-29, when Second Ward is open, then students based on their interest could choose our Philip O'Berry Comprehensive Magnet High School that's open to the district, or they could also choose Second Ward. So they could decide between two, but that would not be fully available until 28-29 because of the Second Ward opening due to the bond schedule.
So we'll start with Philip O'Berry.
Yes.
It's across the county. Okay. And so the parents just really have to look at those choices.
For that 1 year, and then after that 1 year, then they'd have two high school options.
And that's something I hear a lot about too, where they say, yes, but I start here and now I gotta make another change somewhere else, and that's that continuity families want. They make a decision about a school.
Yes.
And then to say in a year, I would have to look at something else. I think that's also a heart. They really have to look at those decisions, especially when you're talking about transportation or location.
Yes, ma'am.
Board Member London?
Thank you. Thank you for all of the work that you all have put into all of this from the beginning until now with the community feedback and making revisions. And so my question is about early college versus the middle college. And so I appreciate, that you all have decided to recommend keeping one a middle college, understanding that the community had a lot of feedback. Students, families had a lot of feedback. But I do just want to, confirm, we currently have a wait list for early colleges, but our middle colleges are not, only one of them is currently full.
That is correct, and we do not have a wait list for middle colleges at this time. We have lots of seats in our middle colleges that are available to families.
And so changing a couple of these from current middle college to early college will open up a lot of those seats, but we will still have a wait list, right?
We currently have 1,300 students on a wait list, so we would still have some, but we would have a significant decrease in the number of students on the wait list.
Okay. And so are there opportunities, last follow-up to that, are there opportunities for the students that are on the wait list to move into early college opportunities and/or the middle college opportunities if they want to do that instead, since there will be a wait list? Does that make sense?
Say a little bit more.
So if we've got students on the wait list for early college, but the Cato Middle College will likely not be full, could students be moved that are waiting for early? I know that's a lot of hypothetical.
I understand.
But I know that that's an incredible opportunity. We have so many students on the wait list. And I want to make sure that students have an opportunity, even if they can't get into the early college they applied for.
So I do understand your question. Thank you for the clarification. So we, for the first year, have maintained a wait list past, I think, the first month or two of the program choice. In the past, in the district, we would only keep our wait list for a month or two, and then the wait list would go away. Now we've committed to keeping the wait list until the school has said, with programming of that school, it's not feasible for a student to come in at this point. And to your point, if we make this transition in the fall of 27, 28, we certainly could reach back to the students that are on the wait list to say, we still have a middle school opportunity, a middle college opportunity. You're now a junior. Are you still interested in it? And that would be another way for us to make sure that that middle college becomes that it's full as well, that we maximize all the seats. So that's a great thought and comment.
Thank you.
And Char?
Okay, well, first off, thank you so much for this. I just wanted to ask, on student assignment goals C, reducing the number of schools with high concentrations of poor and high needs children, what exactly, how many of those schools are in CMS? Is there a number on that, and how many schools are categorized as that?
As high needs?
Yes.
Well, I think it would depend on how you're defining it, but if we're defining it based on socioeconomic status and Title I status, I would say we have over 100 Title I schools, and they have a high threshold of students that qualify for some type of support. So I would say that we have a need across the district. We have a large population of those students, but we also keep socioeconomic status data for every school. And so anytime we have a choice program, we work to, the lottery is set so that they self-report when they apply for the lottery process. But we have a third of each of those categories, and that's a part of the ongoing work that was set forth. I think they started that in 2017. So that's how it's been the way forward since then, and that has not changed. And we continue with the recommendations in this proposal with providing the same programs in each transportation zone to ensure that there's equity and access, and reducing the time that students have to spend on buses and other things to have those opportunities. Currently today, some of the programs aren't in every transportation zone. So we believe that we're enhancing that, but not going away from the original purpose and intent that they started reporting in this on our website as of 2017.
Okay, I was gonna ask a follow-up, but you answered it. Thank you.
All right, Board Member Stone?
Thank you, Dr. Balton.
your explanations have been very clear and very concise. In fact, Board Member London asked my question, so thank you. Thank you.
Oh, Vice Chair Rankin?
I'm looking at the map, the transportation zone map, and also along with the STEM map. If you look at the map really quickly, I know it's probably small, but if you can see, do you see that it's a star with a green environment where Cato College is? I don't know if you can see that or not. Where Cato, it's like Cato, J.W. Green, Northridge are all right there. You see that? And if you go due north, there's a red dot, there's a red square, which is DJV. Do you see that? Directly above that star, the cluster of Northridge, you have J.W. Greer, you have all those right there. And right above that, that red square above that, and just over in the violet zone is DJV. DJV is slated to go to, if you go all the way over to the left in the violet zone, to Coolwood, which is over close to the violet, the other side of close to 485. But Northridge is literally right there. Even though it's in another transportation zone, it's much closer to Northridge versus like family that's living in the DJV area, because it's a neighborhood school, but it's also a magnet there. I'm trying to figure out how a parent will be able to get a kid from DJV to Coolwood, where they have Northridge, which is literally right down the street with the same STEM school. But they won't be able to get transportation, but it's literally closer to do that. And I think it'd make more sense transportation-wise to also keep individuals in that same area. So I'm just kind of, is there something we could look at by either adjusting transportation zone or making an exception?
So I will start the response, and then Chief Ivey will probably have some specific transportation pieces. If we were to go back and change, for example, your example of DJV to a different transportation zone, then we would need to come back with a new proposal, because then what we've presented, then public comment would not be based on, because the goal is to offer family continuums. So I'm not saying it couldn't be done, but we'd have to go back and basically start over and make adjustments with potentially other schools as well. The other thing that I will speak to before I give it to Chief Ivey is that you're exactly right. So as a family, we could decide if things stay this way that we've recommended, they could go to DJV and they could choose to get transportation to Coolwood and apply for a seat there. They also could choose to get a seat outside their transportation zone and not receive transportation. You have lifted that would be a barrier to the family, but they could go to their home school, but they could also choose to go to the school outside of their transportation zone if they get a lottery seat and if they can provide transportation for their student, or they could go to Coolwood. And then I don't know, Chief Ivey, if you have other thoughts about how the transportation zones work and the ripple effect of that.
No, but I do appreciate you clarifying that. So I do think it's important for us just to note that in several cases, not just within our magnet programs, we have home-based schools that maybe residents may be closer to a school, but yet they're zoned to go to a school at a different place, and that is due to the way the transportation zones actually work with being able to get students back and forth. If we were to solely look at residency and the area that a school is around, then we would be building schools continuously because of growth. We have to kind of balance it out for where there are available seats and be able to make that adjustment. So I do agree with Dr. Botnight that students who would live closer to a school would be able to opt to still attend a school closest to them if it's not within their transportation zone and provide their own transportation. And we would be willing or proposing to provide transportation within the zone to the designated schools that are recommended.
I would also like, I'm sorry.
I was saying, just follow up. I understand what you're saying, but we're keeping track to just following what the rules say when it comes to transportation zone. But fiscally, it's going to cost us more to take a kid that's a neighborhood school's DJV, which is over in this area, to fiscally transport a student to the opposite side of town just because it's in the same transportation zone.
That is correct, as Chief Ivey said, oftentimes. However, the other thing that we also, as a district, believe that we want to balance this SES status of schools. So we don't just have neighborhood schools in the district, even if we're not talking about program choice. We try to balance the enrollment of the students, even when we draw just attendance lines, as we'll be doing this fall. So when you look at policy S-ASGP, letter C, it talks about the number of students with high concentrations of poor and high needs children. I'm not saying that's the case at those schools. I'm saying that's also part of what drives the breadth and depth of our transportation zones, to make sure that we don't have all like neighborhoods in one particular school, that we have diversity in all of our schools.
Go ahead, I'll come back, I'll come back to mine.
Is it the same line of question?
Same line of question, but I know somebody else.
Just go ahead.
But even in the violet zone, it seems as if even Governor's Village is closer to DJV than Coolwood, and it's still in violet. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's still in that same area. Where you have Bruns and Park Creek, to me, it makes sense to go to Coolwood because they're on that side of town. I'm just putting it out there, maybe take a look at it. I know this is being proposed now.
Okay.
But if you look at it, I think that DJV Parkside is a lot closer to Governor's Village than is to Coolwood. And that's it.
All right. Board Member Stone?
Thanks. I'd like to follow up with what Board Member Rankin is mentioning. And it has to do with the size of the building, basically. So if a family wants to go to their school that's closer, that's in their magnet program, but they're zoned for the school that's further away, and they say, oh, I want to go to the one closer to my home. So they apply. How is that going to work if all the seats fill up from the people that are assigned to that school? Then there's not going to be enough capacity to accept a whole lot of people transferring in there in that program.
That is correct. They would have to apply for the lottery, and they would have to get a seat. A part of this proposal is to provide continuums to families, so you're exactly right. The students in that transportation zone that were in that program or in that transportation zone will get priority over someone that I'm in the blue and I want to jump to green. They would get a seat if there is one remaining, because oftentimes our lotteries are not, our magnets aren't always full, or our choice programs. However, they would come after those students that are in that transportation zone. So that's a great point.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I just want to build upon Board Member London's question about the early colleges. So regarding the large wait list, has CMS modeled whether demand for early colleges will continue to exceed capacity even after the conversion?
We believe that as more early colleges come on board and people begin to see the opportunities across the district, we think that there potentially could be even more demand for future early colleges in CMS.
And so with more demand, will we be able to create enough to hold all these kids? Because I'm afraid, we're outpacing the applications and the wait list.
Well, we're going to open up a lot of seats with this one proposal if it's approved. So then I would think that we would look to see where the additional demands are. One of the things that we'll do in the fall and we'll continue to work on is look at overcrowded, overcapacity high schools. And so if any additional early colleges were to occur, we need to look at space of undercapacity schools to determine, is there another location, partnership with a community college, or a four-year university to determine if other opportunities are available.
Okay, thank you.
I am looking at slide 22, and it's saying it says recommended that world languages be added to Garinger, but I thought that was already something that was already a board vote.
Yes, ma'am, that was approved in, I think it's 2023, world languages, and I think even in the board vote, you named Spanish and directed the superintendent to add an additional language. We put it here just for clarity purposes so that the public understands that Garinger would be added to the world languages pathway, and the world languages would be robust. It would be numerous languages at Garinger, not even just Spanish and one additional language, because a comprehensive high school has multiple languages already.
Okay,
So if we need to remove that, then we can, if that's causing duplication of something that's already occurred. These are just the recommendations. These aren't the motions.
Right.
Chair's meeting.
And so I just want to be sure, that's the only That's the only thing that's gonna happen with Garinger is world languages?
That's our recommendation, yes, ma'am.
I don't have any other questions. Are there any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I turn to Dr. Hill for a superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to begin tonight by expressing my sincere gratitude to our students, families, and staff for their patience and support while we navigated technical disruptions May 28th through June 2nd. While the majority of testing sessions were completed successfully, a portion of students experienced interruptions. We experienced two main disruptions. The first was caused by a CMS network firewall performance issue during peak testing demand related to cybersecurity protections designed to safeguard student and staff data. This issue was resolved on June 1st. The second, on June 2nd, was a separate issue with the state testing platform identified by the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction, which caused temporary delays. Throughout these events, our primary focus remained on minimizing disruptions to students, supporting schools, and restoring stable testing conditions as quickly as possible. I also want to extend a special thank you to our CMS technology team, our vendors, and our partners at NCDPI for their tireless work to address these issues and support our schools in real time. Our district and school leaders work collaboratively to provide communication to our entire community and specific communication to those students who may have been impacted by the interruption. Moving forward, we will continue to work closely with NCDPI and our vendors to strengthen readiness for future testing. While strong systems and supports are already in place, we are enhancing key areas including pre-testing firewall checks, system coordination, monitoring, and communication to further ensure a smooth and reliable testing experience. Please know we remain committed to prioritizing secure, stable environments that protect student information and support high-quality teaching, learning, and assessment across all schools. This year has been filled with fun, challenges, and success. None of it would be possible without our amazing students, dedicated staff, impactful school and district leaders, engaged families and community members, and supportive Board of Education. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for an amazing year. Graduations continue this week, beginning tomorrow, June 10th, and throughout the weekend. We are excited to celebrate the class of 2026. Visit our district website at www.cmsk12.org for the schedule of graduation times and locations. While you are there, be sure to check out the class of 2026 senior stories and learn about some of our outstanding graduates. We'd like to say a very special congratulations to the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools educators who have been selected for the 2026 Teaching Fellows Institute, which provides professional and leadership development to honor, engage, and inspire CMS outstanding teachers. Teachers selected demonstrate a commitment to the field of education and to the improvement of the teaching profession, as well as leadership qualities at their school. 17 CMS educators have been selected, and they are from our elementary schools: Nabil El-Ahabi from South Academy of International Languages, April Lazuni from South Academy of International Languages, Lorenzo Moore from Charles H. Parker Academic Center, Catherine Wendelkin from South Academy of International Languages, Emily Woods from Sharon Elementary. From our middle schools, Elisa Copede from South Charlotte, Polly Kiger from J.M. Robinson, Asia Long, Wilson STEM Academy, and Rosario Lopez from Charlotte East Language Academy. And from our high schools, Sierra Clark, West Charlotte, Sharmisha Ghosh from Hawthorne Academy of Health Sciences, Sarah Grayboyles from Valentine Ridge, Donique Kelly from West Charlotte, Casey Murr, North Mecklenburg, Jennifer Oshburn from Myers Park, Pierre St. Sume from West Charlotte, and Stephanie Wyatt from West Charlotte. Congratulations to these outstanding educators. While the last day of school is tomorrow, we are already gearing up for the opening of the 26-27 school year. Attention families, we need to know your students' transportation needs for next school year. Please complete the intent to ride form, one for each student in your household, which is located on our district website, to secure bus transportation. We need you to please do this by June 19th to avoid any delays in transportation services at the beginning of the year. And registration is open for our bases loaded back to school celebration at Truist Field from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday, August 1st. Families can connect with services offered by CMS, explore community resources, receive free school supplies and haircuts, and enjoy special activities. Check out our website to learn more and to register to attend. We hope everyone has a well-deserved, restful, and enjoyable summer break. We encourage you to take time to relax, enjoy the sunshine, and spend time exploring the many parks and community spaces across our beautiful county. Thank you for your continued engagement and partnership this year. We truly appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you again next year. Madam Chair, this concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Hill. Next, board member reports. Dr. Witherspoon.
Thank you. As we close another school year, I want to take a moment to express my sincere gratitude to the many individuals who make the success of students possible every day. First, thank you to our outstanding teachers. Your commitment, your creativity, patience, and unwavering belief in our students have helped shape minds, build confidence, and open doors to opportunity. And your work extends far beyond the classroom, and our community is better because of your service. I also want to recognize and thank our staff members who contribute to the daily operation of our schools, to our bus drivers who safely transport students each day, our cafeteria teams who ensure that children are nourished and ready to learn, our custodians who maintain safe and welcoming learning environments, and our staff, support staff who work tirelessly behind the scenes. Thank you for your dedication and care. To our principals and school leaders, thank you for your leadership, vision, commitment to create environments where students and staff can thrive. To our district leaders and our superintendent, thank you for your steadfast focus on improving outcomes for all students and for leading this important work throughout the year. Most importantly, congratulations to our students. I'm excited and thank you for your hard work, your perseverance, your determination. Whether you achieved academic milestones, overcame personal challenges, excelled in athletics or the arts, or simply continued showing up and giving your best effort, we celebrate you. And to the class of 2026, congratulations on this remarkable accomplishment. Your future is bright, and I'm proud of all that you have achieved. And I look forward to attending all the graduation ceremonies, well, not all of them, but the graduation ceremonies, celebrating this important milestone with our graduates and families. Have a safe, joyful, and well-deserved summer.
Board Member Haynes.
June is Gun Violence Prevention Month. This report is a difficult one for me. Just a few weeks ago, a friend of mine of more than 40 years ago was shot and killed while riding a city bus in Cincinnati, Ohio. We grew up together, we shared memories, laughter, and a lifetime of friendship. Today, he is gone, his family is grieving, his friends are grieving, and my community back home is grieving. The truth is that he is the latest victim, but he is far from the only victim. Here in District 2, we recently mourned the loss of a Harding High School student who was shot and killed. These tragedies do not define our communities, but they certainly remind us that none of us are untouched by gun violence. Every day in this country, families receive phone calls that change their lives forever. Empty seats appear at dinner tables, dreams go unrealized, and communities are left behind to heal. Gun violence is a public health issue, an education issue, and a human issue. The trauma follows our children into our classrooms and affects their ability to trust and feel safe. Firearms remain the leading cause of death for children and teenagers in the United States. We cannot accept this as normal. I want to thank the organizations and leaders in Charlotte who refuse to accept it as normal either. Moms demand action. mothers of murdered offspring, Stop Killing Our Kids, Angel of Mercy, Seven Robinson and her organization, Alternatives to Violence, and so many others who stand in the gaps with grieving families and work every day to interrupt violence before another's life is lost. To our young people, no disagreement, social media post, rumor, relationship, or moment of anger is worth a life. Put the gun down, walk away, call somebody, ask for help. There is no problem that is solved by taking a life. To parents, educators, faith leaders, and neighborhoods, stay engaged. We have the hard conversations, build relationships, know our children, and protect our children. And for us, the policymakers, let us have the courage to pursue evidence-based, sensible gun safety measures that keep firearms out of dangerous situations and save lives. My friends should still be here. So should every student and neighbor whose life has been cut short by gun violence. Let us honor them, not only with our words, but our actions. I thank you and have a great school year.
Board membership.
Okay. Okay. First of all, I want to say thank you to all of our CMS staff, our teachers, our administrators, and everyone for a great year. But most importantly, to our students, they've shown resilience, dedication, hard work, and made this year successful along with their teachers and their staff. I am always so thankful for all of the staff in CMS, everything each and every one of you do, our superintendents, and each one of you right here, all the work that you put in on a regular basis to ensure academic success for all our students. I'm always grateful to be able to see it and hear it as I see so many of my former students and teachers. I'm just so proud of the work that's being done on a continuous basis each and every day. I have had opportunities this year to see a former teacher assistant become a teacher who was recognized as a finalist for the Teacher of the Year. So that's exciting. And also a former teacher who is now a principal at one of the elementary schools. So I'm thankful for the work that I've gotten to see, but most importantly, the accomplishments of all our students. I'm looking forward to graduations, as I do every year. Congratulations to our 2026 graduates at all of the high schools and middle colleges and early colleges. They have just done a fantastic job to be where they are today, and I appreciate every year getting to see this. And most importantly, I want to thank my family. I will have a nephew graduating this year from Mallard Creek High School, and I'm looking forward to that. So I'm really thankful for what I get to see each and every day and the continuous work that we do on behalf of every child in Charlotte-Mecklenburg School. Have a wonderful summer.
I'd do it.
Board Member Stone.
Sure. Okay. Everybody raise your right hand, put it over your back, pat yourselves on the back. You guys, everybody in this room has worked really hard to get us here today, and I want you to know it is very appreciated. I really appreciate the unique vision that this position has given me, and the help from everybody to help my glasses fit. Shout out to the seniors. Great. It was so amazing last week to do the graduation services that I attended, and it was teary experience, and going to be a lot more tears at the end of the week because I got students that are aging up through. Also, I want to thank the families and constituents in District 5. They keep me informed, they keep me honest, and they push hard. And that's exactly what parents are supposed to do when it comes to their kids. So I really, really appreciate it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a great summer, get some sleep, 3 R's, rest, relax, renew. And Dr. Vaught knows 3 R's too. but I'm not going to say any more about that. So she knows what it is. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. As my time serving as student advisor to the board comes to its halfway mark, I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you to each and every one of you. It truly has been an honor to represent the students of Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools and to have a seat at this table. This experience has reminded me that student voices really do matter, and I'm grateful that everyone on the board values student input and gives young people the opportunity to be a part of these conversations. I've also learned a lot during my time here. One big thing being that the phrase "one quick question" is usually never just one quick question.
Don't point at me.
I'm so sorry. Anyway, as we celebrate Pride Month, I also want to recognize and support the many students, staff, and families in our CMS community who help make our schools more welcoming and inclusive every day. Thank you to the board members, district leadership, staff, the students who trusted me to represent them, and most importantly, Mr. Jeter and Ms. Farrell for being the best support I could ask for. I'm eager for the rest of my time here. Thank you all, and I'll see you at the next meeting.
All right, Board Member Monterey Duvall.
Thank you. All right, happy Pride Month to those who celebrate, particularly CMS family. I see you and I love you. Tomorrow is the last day of school, and my son will enter second grade next year. And as I reflect on the progress he's made, it's just a small lens into the broader impact that CMS is doing every single day across all the students, and the resilience that we've had to deal with all of the challenges that we've had this year. I love who we are and what we've become, and what we've done in the toughest of times within shortest of times, yet we've ridden every wave like skilled surfers. And so I see that and I appreciate that. Congrats, grads. This is my favorite time of the year. I'm always inspired. Never stop learning. And to all my first timers, the first time graduating from high school, the first time going to college, the first time in your family to be enrolled, employed, or enlisted, be so proud of yourself and be kind to yourself, because you are also going to navigate some waters that you may have never navigated before. And that's all right, because that's what we're made of. And I'm just so incredibly proud to get to shake your hand on that stage. And so I'm going to take 30 seconds, perfect. Gracias a los padres y familias de CMS, y siempre recuérdense que sus estudiantes, sus hijos siempre van a estar bienvenidos en nuestras escuelas, porque todos somos una familia, y como vieron las cosas horribles que pasaron en octubre, espero que siempre sepan que nosotros los queremos y vamos a luchar para ustedes, para la familia, para los estudiantes, y siempre vamos a mejorar y siempre vamos a pelear para nuestros estudiantes. Happy summer.
Dr. Hatch.
As we close out another school year, I want to take a moment to recognize and celebrate all of the students, educators, and staff who made it possible. And of course, congratulations to the class of 2026. You've reached an important milestone, and our community is so proud of you. Whether your next chapter includes college, career, military service, entrepreneurship, or a path you're still trying to figure out, we are cheering for you. I also want to recognize every student across Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools. We know that not every accomplishment comes with a diploma or an award. Some students learned how to read, some overcame challenges no one even saw, some found their voice, some built confidence, and some simply kept going when things got hard. And my hope is that every student leaves this school year able to identify one thing they learned, one way they grew, or one thing they are proud of. As we head into the summer, I want to encourage families to keep learning alive. The summer slide is real, y'all, and so we should be looking for ways to read together, visit the library, explore a park, museum, or neighborhood you've never visited, cook together, talk about math, ask questions, and stay curious. As we head into the summer, we should also have one additional challenge. Let's all think intentionally about screen time, because screen time is bigger than a school-issued device or educational program. It includes social media, gaming, streaming, YouTube, texting, and endless scrolling that competes for our attention every day. The limits schools create during the day are only one small part of the problem. After tomorrow, many of our children will have almost 12 weeks of increased freedom and flexibility. And we should ask ourselves, how are we helping them develop healthy habits with technology? So this summer, we should model the behavior that we want children to see at school, as we explore as a district opportunities to better use technology in our classrooms. We also should remind our students by modeling the behavior at home that some of the most important lessons about technologies begin long before students in our classroom. And one of the greatest gifts we can give our children this summer is the lessons that balance matters, relationships matter, and real-world experiences matter, and start at home. Have a safe, joyful, and restorative, technology-free summer with lots of reading, and we look forward to welcoming you back in the fall. Thank you.
Board Member London.
Thank you. So here we are, the end of the school year. To our students, I am so proud of you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for working hard, growing, and persevering through the challenges and celebrations this year. To our graduates, your next chapter begins now. The moment that you finish your last day of high school and you walk across that stage, whether you're headed to college, a career, military service, or another path, know that we are all incredibly proud of you. The future is bright because of students exactly like you. I look forward to seeing many of you and shaking your hands at graduations. To our families, thank you for your partnership, your trust, and the support throughout the year. Thank you for engaging with us. Thank you for showing up. And thank you for applying pressure. To our educators, principals, counselors, support staff, all staff, the district team, and leadership, thank you for the countless ways that you have invested in our students. Your impact reaches far beyond the classroom, and I hope that you see that. As summer begins, I hope everyone takes time to rest, recharge, stay safe, stay out of trouble, spend time with loved ones, do productive things, don't forget to read, explore, and study. Congratulations on making it to the finish line, and thank you for a wonderful school year.
Vice Chair Rankin.
We've made it to the end of another successful school year. To all of our students, congratulations. You have persisted through homework assignments, tests, quizzes, performances, rehearsals, athletic practices, competitions, and countless challenges along the way. Your hard work and determination have brought you to this moment, and you should be proud of all that you have achieved this year. I also want to extend my sincere gratitude to our teachers, administrators, support staff, transportation teams, cafeteria workers, custodians, executive team, cabinet members, and of course our superintendent, and every employee who plays a role in educating and supporting our students. Thank you for the long hours, dedication, and commitment you demonstrated each day to ensure our students receive the quality education and a meaningful experience from the bus to the stop to the classroom and beyond. Enjoy the summer, you earned it. And finally, congratulations to the class of 2026. You did it. Earning your high school diploma is a significant milestone and a testament to your resilience and grit. I look forward to celebrating with many of you over the coming days as you walk across the stage and begin your next chapter. Be proud of what you've achieved, embrace the journey ahead, and continue striving for excellence. Have a safe and enjoyable summer, and to the class of 2026, go be great. And since we have another meeting, our next meeting is not until June 23rd, I want to say happy Father's Day, early Father's Day to all my dads, and happy Juneteenth. Celebrate and enjoy that moment as well. So go enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you. And I gotta take a break because I cry every meeting. Like, this is becoming a thing. Jesus.
That's because Dee keeps bringing onions and garlic.
I'm thinking about the graduates. Here you go. So I'm trying to practice for West Charlotte's graduation on Friday. Special shout out to my daughter, who will be graduating from the West Charlotte High School, Dub C. So I got to get it out now. Thank you to all that have contributed in any way, big and small. To our students. Enjoy the summer. All right, we have several action items on the agenda this evening. Actually, we have 5, 6. So the first one is creation of policy B-OLCA, Office of Legal Compliance and Advocacy. Attorney Vice Chair is chair of the policy committee to make this motion. As it comes out of committee, it does not require a second.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the proposal creation of policy B-OLCA, Office of Legal Compliance and Advocacy. The proposed policy does the following: establishes the Office of Legal Compliance and Advocacy, officially replacing the former Office of General Counsel. Creates the role of Chief Legal Compliance and Advocacy Officer to oversee the OCLA, and mandates that this position reports directly to the Board of Education. Formalizes the office's responsibilities, tasking it with advising the board on all legal, risk management, compliance, policy, and advocacy initiatives. The policy committee met and considered these modifications at our May 4th, 2026 meeting and voted to recommend approval by the full board.
Mr. Rankin, would you like to speak to your motion?
Not this time, thank you.
Is there any discussion? We're ready for the question. All those in favor of creation of the policy B-OLCA, Office of Legal Compliance and Advocacy, by show of hands. It is unanimous, Madam Clerk. Second action item for this evening is modification of policy P-CNTR, teacher contracts. Attorney Vice Chair D. Rankin is chair of the policy committee to make this motion. As it is reported out of committee, it does not require a second.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the proposed modifications to policy P-CNTR, teacher contracts. The proposed modifications do the following: require a teacher to hold a North Carolina continuing professional license to be eligible to be recommended for a 4-year contract. Requires that a teacher who completed a 4-year contract demonstrate effectiveness by receiving a rating of at least proficient on all standards on the most recent annual evaluation to be recommended for a subsequent 4-year contract. Removes the current requirement to demonstrate effectiveness by receiving a rating of at least accomplished on a majority of the standard on the most recent annual evaluation. The policy committee met and considered these modifications at our May 4th, 2026 meeting and voted to recommend approval by the full board.
Mr. Rankin, would you like to speak to your motion?
Not this time, thank you.
All right, any other questions, comments? All those in favor of modification of policy P-CNTR, teacher contracts, by show of hands. It's unanimous, Madam Clerk. I turn to Vice Chair D. Rankin as chair of the policy committee to make the motion for creation of policy S-SFRS, student free speech. As this being reported out of committee, it does not require a second.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the proposed creation of policy S-SFRS, student free speech. The proposed policy does the following: demonstrates the board's support for First Amendment freedoms with operational necessity of maintaining a safe and focused educational environment. Confirms that while student expression is protected, administrators may intervene if speech is materially disruptive, violates the rights of others, such as bullying or threats, is lewd or promotes illegal substance use. Explicitly prohibits discrimination based on opinion, ensuring that discipline is never applied based on a student's political, social, or religious perspective. Extends the policy's reach to all school-sponsored events and provides a framework for addressing off-campus or digital speech that creates a direct threat to school security or the well-being of the student body. The policy committee met and considered these modifications at our May 4th, 2026 meeting and voted to recommend approval by the full board.
Vice Chair Rankin, would you like to speak to your motion?
I just want to say thank you to my policy committee members and my legal team for taking the time to really be thoughtful about this policy. So I really appreciate your hard work. Thank you.
Any other comments? Being none, all those in favor for creation of policy S-SFRS, student free speech, by show of hands. It is 8. All opposed? Oh, shoot.
I'm opposed.
Okay, all 7 opposed. 1 opposed.
Sorry, 2 opposed.
Oh, sorry, 2 opposed. Motion carries, Madam Clerk. I turn to Vice Chair D. Rankin for the, sorry. I turn to Dr. Hill to speak to the recommended approval of the 2026-27 Career and Technical CTE application for state federal funds.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. On May 26th, which was the board's last business meeting, Dr. Balknight and staff shared the Career and Technical Education report and plan. We'd like to thank our board members for your questions and thoughtful engagement. This evening, we are requesting your approval, and here you see the total amount that for the CTE plan is $53,810,554. And here you see the exact funds for each and each dollar amount. At this time, I turn it back to Chair Sneed.
I turn to Board Member Stone to make the motion.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the 2026-2027 CTE application for state and federal funding as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion properly made and seconded. Are there any comments or questions regarding this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the recommended approval of the 26-27 Career and Technical CTE application for state federal funds, by show of hands. Just unanimous, Madam Clerk. Motion carries. I turn to Dr. Hill prior to the motion for approval of the recommended approval of 26-27 federal entitlement grants, district application, and budget.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On the same evening, staff provided the report for our entitlement grants. Here you will see the various titles and the associated amounts, with a total of $64,195,394. I'll turn to Madam Chair.
I turn to Board Member Haynes to make this motion.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the superintendent's recommendation, 2026-2027, federal entitlement grants, district application, and budget as outlined in the attached document, 2026-2027 federal programs entitlement grants budget.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is properly made and seconded. Are there any questions or comments regarding the motion? Would you like to speak to your motion?
Not at this time, Madam Chair.
All those in favor by show of hands for the recommendations to approve the 26-27 federal entitlement grants district application and budget as presented. It is unanimous, Madam Clerk. Motion carries. For the next motion, I turn to Dr. Hill to speak to the recommended approval of K-12 Insight LLC contract amendment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for the opportunity to share additional requested information regarding the K-12 Insight contract amendment. We have provided an additional executive summary in response to questions that have been lifted. Our district continues to address customer service. Historically, our district has handled customer service in a variety of ways. One, through our ombudsman's office, which was resolved several years ago. We've also utilized a call center where we have employed part-time and full-time employees, as well as the regular archaic way of using phone and email. We now partner with K-12 Insight to address critical gaps in communication, customer service, to enhance transparency and accountability across the district. At this time, I will turn it over to our Chief of Staff, Chastity Dolan, who is the executive sponsor for this item, to provide a brief summary for this contract.
Good evening, Chair Sneed and board members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight regarding the K-12 Insight Contract Amendment. The information I'll be referencing can be found in your executive summary and also posted on board docs. Since the 24-25 school year, Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools has partnered with K-12 Insight to implement the OnFlow platform, formerly known as Let's Talk, to address critical gaps in communication, transparency, and accountability across the district. Prior to OnFlow, our communication was fragmented and inconsistent across the district. There was no single point of contact, limiting accountability, and there was no reliable way to track or learn from stakeholder interactions. This made it difficult to ensure timely responses, analyze trends, or deliver a consistent customer experience. OnFlow addresses these challenges by providing a single public-facing point of contact that captures every inquiry, routes it to the appropriate team, and tracks it through resolution. OnFlow provides one centralized public-facing system to capture, route, and resolve inquiries. It creates transparency and accountability through full tracking status updates and real-time dashboards. But most importantly, it gives us actionable data to continuously improve how we serve families, staff, and communities. This year, we've managed 52,000 inquiries, demonstrating both scale and the system's ability to respond effectively. Across these 52,000 inquiries, our current response rate is less than 24 hours. We're outperforming our 48-hour goal and improving significantly from 4.4 days last fall. Customer experience is trending positively. We currently have a 7.2 customer experience score, and 67% of those respondents rate their experience as excellent. These results reflect meaningful progress in building a system that delivers consistent service, strengthens accountability, and earns the trust of our community. We continue to build on progress. We're advancing a continuous improvement model grounded in customer experience, transparency, and accountability. Beginning in August, we plan to implement a standard operating procedure requiring leadership follow-up on low satisfaction scores to ensure no concern goes unaddressed. We will continue daily monitoring and weekly reporting to drive performance. And we're expanding capabilities, including a chatbot launch in August of 2026 to provide faster, more accessible support for our customers. This model reflects best-in-class practices and positions CMS to lead in customer service excellence. OnFlow ensures every inquiry is seen, every voice is heard, and every interaction strengthens trust in our system. Thank you again for this opportunity to share this work. I'm going to turn it back over to Chair Sneed.
I'm going to turn to Board Member Dr. Hatch to make this motion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to approve the superintendent's recommended contract amendment with K-12 Insights LLC as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ship. Are there any questions or discussion regarding this? Dr. Hatch, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes. I requested that the contract be pulled from the consent agenda because I wanted to make sure the board had the opportunity to have a brief public discussion given its connection to one of our strategic priorities and the board's responsibility to provide oversight of significant investments. The intent is not to revisit vendor selection or operational decisions. Rather, I'd like to make sure that we had a better understanding of how success is being measured and how this investment is advancing the district's goals related to customer service, stakeholder engagement, and communication. Given our ongoing conversations around family engagement, transparency, customer service, and stewardship of public resources, I felt it was important for the board and the public to have a shared understanding of what success looks like in using this tool, how it's being measured, and how this contract supports the district's broader strategic goals. As a reminder, pulling an item for discussion should not be viewed as opposition. It is part of the board's governance role to ask questions, seek clarity, and ensure we understand the value and outcomes associated with significant investments before taking action.
All right, any other questions or comments?
I would like to say I appreciate Dr. Hatch working to bring it to the full board, because I do think it's important that everybody understands what the tool does and what we need it to continue to do in the future. So thank you, Dr. Hatch.
All righty. All those in favor for the approval of the K-12 Insight Contract Amendment by show of hands? It is unanimous, Madam Clerk. Motion carries. I'll entertain a motion.
One more? One more?
Yes. I'll entertain a motion to uphold the recommendation of the superintendent based on the evidence in the board record to non-renew the contracts of those employees shown on the list and for those reasons stated in the board record that are not cured prior to January 12, 2026, 11:59 p.m.
I move.
Second.
It's been moved by Rankins, second by Shipp. Any questions or discussion? Mr. Vice Chair Rankin, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, not this time.
Any others? All right, so the motion before us is to uphold the recommendation of the superintendent based on the evidence in the board record to non-renew contracts of those employees shown on the list and for the reasons stated in the board record that are not cured prior to June 12th, 2026, 11:59 p.m. by show of hands. It is unanimous, Madam Clerk. And the motion carries. All items have been, for our regular meeting, are concluded today, but I will entertain a motion for the Board of Education to go into closed session for the following purposes. One, to protect the disclosure of personnel information as privileged, confidential, not a public record, as outlined in section 115C-319, 115C-321 of North Carolina General Statutes, and two, to consider specific personnel matters. This motion is being made pursuant to sections 143-318.11A1A6 of North Carolina General Statutes. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Haynes,
Second.
second by London. All those in favor? All right, motion carries unanimous. The regular meeting is adjourned.